Good morning, everybody. Whoa.
Oops. We liked it so much, we'll do it again.
No, I remember we were testing stuff yesterday, so I made it loop.
So you're feeling testy today?
No. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, along with Spence and...
Who?
What?
Who?
I thought you froze. Who?
Who? This is
And Bruce is here.
Yes, from the Chiliburg.
From the Chiliburg.
Yes.
Yeah, it's chilly here too,
today.
yeah. Today is September, 15th? Yeah. Is it?
I don't think we're live.
Yeah, it's 15th. Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are.
Well, I keep restarting the web feed, and it keeps going back to playing.
Actually, if you just stop the old video, and just hover there on the video, it'll come up with a huge thing. It says, "Watch live." But anyway, back to Mike is probably either just kind of like to sleep a little bit later, or
it's cold. He's having a hard time getting moving.
Yeah. He's almost gone into hibernation.
Our number is 919.
He's a bear.
518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is being brought to you by that VidBlaster guy, Tom Sinclair, at that vidblasterguy.com. Yeah, we stayed up last night till midnight.
Yeah, I saw the Hangout was still going strong when I was going to bed. So
yeah. Nick successfully installed Wirecast on my encoding machine, and I switched. So that is one reason why right now we're not live on Justin, is because we didn't get that part yet, and why we are not using Wirecast to actually stream the show. The only thing that it does right now is streams the 24/7 reruns. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you already, when I was running that machine, which was, a quad-core versus Intel versus quad-core AMD. The new one is a quad-core Intel. On the AMD, VidBlaster, FMLE, VLC, and a browser, all on the screen to go between the live and the reruns, was running right at 95 to 100% most of the time.
Well, wouldn't you want to give it your all, your 100%?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
With this, with Wirecast here now, with a VLC, with Wirecast open, and with the browser, 38%.
And you're doing the H.264 encoding?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
H, not X, the H.264.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right. So
No, X is better than H.
So
the X.
So you're talking about 5.0, right?
No. The 5.0 has X.264, which is supposed to be even better.
Oh, so you're running 4.3.
Is it 4.5? 4.3? 4.5? I didn't notice what was put on it.
Okay.
But we found out that, and it's really strange. Here you have a video card that has on it DVI, VGA, HDMI, and it has two little mini display ports, which I never knew what they were. I'm already using 2 monitors here in the studio on that card. So you just add the HDMI. Well, guess what? Doesn't work like that. You can't have all 3 working at the same time. So...
Sounds like the economy.
Yeah. So Nick and Sean did some real quick looking into it, and I will be able to use all 3 if I use one of the mid-display ports for either monitor.
And the cable costs more than the card?
No, the converter is like at $9, $10, but nobody, of course, has it locally. But I never knew that you can use those little ones. Whoever used mini display ports? Did you, Spence? I didn't even know what they were. I mean, you see on the back of the video card, and they're little tiny.
To be honest, I've never had an occasion to use more than 2 monitors.
Right. Well,
I have hooked up 3 just to test it, and I was using the 2 regular DVI outputs and 1 USB adapter just to try. I want to see how it would work, and it worked fine. But it's not something I need to have.
all right, Mike just sent an IM and saying he'll be on by 10. I'll bet you.
So, Bruce, I had a question for you. When you said show us some social media love by tweeting out the URL, is that like tweeting out the wazoo?
Yeah, tweet out the wazoo. Yeah. I do this, about 10 minutes before showtime. I just, I copy the URL, and this morning, I try to make it kind of unique. So this morning's tweet was, let's see, let me get exactly how I said this here. Yes, join us at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for Computers 2K Now and have a bite, B-Y-T-E, for breakfast. Pretty clever, huh?
Yes.
I think if you tweeted out Amnon was going to go give away $1,000 to the first 10 watchers, that you would get a lot more people.
Yeah. Now this is not copyrighted, so I encourage everybody to. In fact, I'll copy it right, and you can just copy and paste it into Twitter, and I'll put it right in the chat. I'll make it so easy. Let's break 70 live viewers at some point in time today. Oh, what the heck? Let's break 100. How about that?
Okay, what is John in Florida saying? Did you see my signal report for you? Something about how I saw you saying, I hear you fine, Amnon, John. But I didn't. Did somebody say that I didn't sound good?
No, but in the last few weeks, it seems to have started off low and gradually crept up, with Skype. No, you're starting off nice and strong.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
So, John, feel free to call in. Computers 2K voice. All right. I need to go and have another bite.
Okay. Hey, let me give you a quick.
Param just reminded me that the cable I have for my MacBook is actually a mini display port. It was true. It would be nice if I had the cable because I loaned it to one of my children and never got it back.
Where's Param?
Oh, he just texted me.
Oh, he's listening.
Yep.
So that's what you're using?
We were chatting back and forth yesterday about the new iPhones and iOS 7 and how I'm going to have to join the modern world and get rid of my iPhone 4 and upgrade to something.
I don't know about that.
Well, it's starting to get dodgy, so,
I may buy the $99 one just for the heck of it.
I thought about buying the 4S because that would be at least a step up from what I have.
What's wrong with one you have?
It's like I said, it's starting to get weird.
4S would be free for you.
Weird things on it. I've already wiped it clean and reinstalled, and I get times when the screen even on home screen, it will zoom in a little bit, so I have to actually navigate around the screen. It's very strange.
The only thing that I have to do to my 3-year-old
Android
Droid 2 is take the battery out once a week and put it back in, and everything is just fine. Did you ever do? Oh, you can't do it on the iPhone, can you?
Oh, you can. It involves a hacksaw and a few other things.
I'll tell you what, with the advent of the Note 3 coming out,
Yeah.
you go to Amazon Wireless right now and buy a Note 2 for $116, I think, and I'm betting it's going to be $99 within a week after the Note 3 is finally shipping. So, great opportunity here. My wife's iPhone 4 is getting dodgy, as Spencer would say, and she's out of contract, and she's really leaning towards getting a Note 2.
Note 2 is like the one that Nick had all the problems with. I mean, not technical.
Right. Yeah, dropping it and it's flung across the room.
Right.
Buying a stolen one and having a bad S Pen. Yeah, he's snake bit on that thing for some reason.
Yeah,
Hey, let me give you just a real quick report on my my Chromebook experiment traveling on business last week, and just say that it went exceedingly well. It was so great to be able to carry, the little light Chromebook and, go to different meetings in our executive conference room, just open that thing up, instant on, remoted into my desktop that I'm on here now in Virginia, and even grabbing it and going to Denny's, and opening it up and participating in a hangout with some of my Tech and Coffee crew while enjoying a grand slam was interesting. So it worked out great. I was on Google Plus Week, Dan McDermott's live hangout show Friday night from the Charlotte Douglas Airport, using my Chromebook and tethered to my Note 2 AT&T. By the way, interesting article on CNET. Speedy AT&T versus reliable Verizon, the gap narrows. And it talks about, Verizon still kind of seems to have the edge on the most reliable network, but AT&T has blown them out of the water when it comes to speed, and in Charlotte in particular. They just kill Verizon on speed. So anyway, it was a great experience on the Chromebook, and I have no regrets. And hardly
what kind of speeds do they have in Charlotte? AT&T.
In Charlotte, I had like 40 down and 25 up.
Jeez.
I'm serious. Yeah, and what happened was one of the guys, we had this Tech and Coffee Hurl, a meetup in Charlotte, and one of the guys had a Motorola Droid. He was on Verizon. He says, he challenged me to an LTE speed test. So we both opened up the speed test app, on Android app, phone that we had. And he had 18 down and like 8 up. And then...
Okay, now, Bruce, in reality, do you really need speeds like that on a phone? Really? I mean, give me example of occasions when you do.
Really fast texting.
If you're in a hangout, it would only have to do with video. If you're in a hangout and you want higher quality video streaming, then this high speed would help you, especially if you one of those have had the HD feature rolled up to you in Google Hangouts. But other than that, not really, because I find that half that speed does great for Netflix when I'm traveling. I was watching some of the sporting events on my Slingbox on the network, and it was great.
Okay, so now explain to me. So you're on AT&T.
I am.
And you don't have caps because
I have grandfathered unlimited plan, but they still, when I get 2 gigabytes, they send me a warning thing. And
when are you going to lose that?
Well,
under what circumstances?
Well, the only circumstances I can imagine if they figure out a way to unilaterally just change it. But I'm not sure about the legal ramifications. About me being grandfathered in. I'm assuming there's probably some fine print in terms of service where they could change that if they felt there was some kind of a justifiable reason to do so. But they don't start throttling me back or anything until I get up and over 5 gigabytes.
I just found out with Verizon, we were grandfathered, and we have like a family plan. And my daughter went and got her iPhone 5 before she traveled. And we had to sign another 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
At that point, that's it, 2 gigabytes. That's it.
Well, that wasn't my experience with AT&T. When I switched from the iPhone 4, I specifically asked them that question. When I went from the iPhone to the Galaxy Note 2, I said, "No, this is not going to change my data plan. Absolutely not," and it didn't. And I had to sign, obviously, a 2-year extension.
Yeah, she had to sign the extension for her, but it apparently affected everybody.
Mm.
And then I found out, when you get a new plan, when you extend for another 2 years, or you get a new phone, that's when they. I mean, it wasn't a big deal for us. I mean, we never. When I asked the guy, I think my phone went like 300 meg. Kathy's went about 200 and some meg. Hannah's went a little bit over 1 gigabyte. So it's and I asked her, I said, "Well, are you being very conservative with what you're doing with data?" She said, "No, I use it for what I need to, so it's fine."
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's watching movies.
Bruce, when you mentioned using the Chromebook when you travel, what did you use for remote access?
Chrome Remote Desktop.
And how did it work?
It worked flawlessly. One thing that I learned, though, is because I have two monitors here, when I remote desktop into my desktop PC here, then it shows both monitors, and so I have to scroll from one side to the other. So I had talked to somebody about this, and his suggestion, and it worked beautifully, is I just unplugged one of my monitors, and so everything ran on just the one monitor, and so it worked great. This is a Chrome extension, so if you use the Chrome browser, and I don't know why you wouldn't, it's a great browsing experience. But if you go to the tools and then extensions and go more extensions, you'll find Chrome Remote Desktop. And it's real easy to set up. You assign, you give a name to the machine, and you assign a 6-digit PIN number. And Chrome Remote Desktop is automatically installed on the Chromebook, and you just click on it. It opens up in a browser tab. You'll see the name of the computer that you registered. You click on it, put in your 6-digit code, and you're in. It's really neat because, when you're running the Chromebook, most everything is done in a browser, although, and I'd like to talk about this maybe later on in the show, about Google's strategy in releasing a lot of desktop apps now that run outside of the browser. I think they're really going after Microsoft and Windows. But so I've got all these tabs open in my Chrome browser on my Chromebook, and one of those tabs is my desktop PC back in Virginia. So it's just as easy as going from one tab to another. So things that I don't need my desktop, Windows 7 desktop in Virginia for, I'm running in other tabs. And also a lot of new offline apps, Gmail, Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Slides, and more and more. There's Kindle offline app now. And so it was just a good experience.
So to set up Chrome Remote Desktop, actually I'm going to try it. I'm going to see how it works. Mm-hmm. I've been working with a company locally here where we're looking at different cloud solutions. Mm-hmm. And this particular individual already uses cloud service to host some applications and looking to add more temporary employees using remote desktop. And in this case, the cloud provider uses Windows Remote Desktop.
Right.
And it works really well.
Yeah.
And it saves, just the cloud solution alone saves so much money for this person because of the applications that they use. Really good solution. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd like to take a look at this and see how it works.
All right, put us on Justin also. So just for the just to be consistent. All right, let's see what there's some good stories. We talked about this before. Wireless charging, and the article goes at Disrupt this week. What the name of event? Ossia Incorporated demonstrated for the first time its wireless charging technology that founder Hatem Zain said has a 30-foot radius. So now you just walk into a room and you getting charged. I don't know what it does to the rest of your body, but it's charging phone.
You keep your coffee warm.
Yeah. And like Wi-Fi, can charge through walls and around corners. The technology, still in prototype phase, uses the same spectrum as other wireless standards, such as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
Ooh. Spectrum? So does it interfere?
I don't know.
That would
Dakota
be interesting,
Dakota Wireless charging system includes a charger and a receiver, either a dongle device or chip tech integrated into a product, such as a smartphone or battery. So it has its own receiver that you have to put on the phone, apparently. While it has yet to be miniaturized, Zain said the wireless technology will eventually be small enough to fit into a AAA battery or any portable electronic device. While the technology has wider industrial implications, as a consumer product, a charging unit will likely sell for around $100. That's pretty good. I mean, you use the phone at home. You don't have to ever worry about plugging it in to charge it. Now, isn't that special?
I think that Nikola Tesla would be very proud.
You're talking about Tesla. I was just reading that Texas also is banning the Tesla car.
From a marketing perspective, you mean, because they feel the showrooms, or are there showrooms, or are they just
they don't have salesmen. They go directly,
so they don't have to pay sales tax.
No, they have to pay sales tax. I mean,
what was the reason why? There was a reason why
because it's the way that they banned it is the new car dealers got together and lobbied against it because they don't make money. North Carolina already has that. I don't know what the other states have that. Now, Spence, you have an SSD, right?
Yes. I have a couple of them. I have a hybrid drive and an SSD.
How about you, Bruce?
No, I don't have an SSD.
There are two stories.
Unless you want to count the Chromebook.
The sudden death of a solid-state drive in Linus Torvalds' main workstation has led to the work on the 3.12 Linux kernel being temporarily suspended. Torvalds has not been able to recover anything from the drive. Subsystem maintainers who have outstanding pull requests may need to resubmit their request in the coming days. If SSD isn't recoverable, he will finish out the Linux 3.12 merge window from a laptop. Can you imagine? Here is the guy that is working on the Linux kernel. His drive on his own machine dies, and that affects. He needs to listen to our show. He needs to learn about backups.
Hey, everybody can't be as well-rounded as us.
This is ridiculous. I mean, he can't recover stuff from his SSD, so people have to resubmit. What are we doing right?
Well, you're right, because you would think somebody who has that kind of exposure would, and I mean, he's obviously not new to this. He's been doing this for a long time. Maybe he just caught him on a bad day.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I don't do, I'm just as guilty. I don't do backups myself, interactive, but maybe once a month. But there are backups that are occurring every day. So one of them is on the fly all the time. Remember that second copy?
Yes.
I'm still using it.
Wow.
It is copying everything to an external drive, and then the batch files that copy the important stuff to 4 different times a day, and Carbonite doing it whenever it wants to. So there is absolutely no reason not to have a current backup. It's just amazing to me that somebody like that is taking a hit because his SSD died. And there's another story, we'll get to it later, about the rate of failures.
Maybe SSD in his case stands for slow serial drive. It's not what you think.
No, it's a screwed up serial drive.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was doing the specials this morning, I ran across in the Tiger Direct ad that they have what they call a NAS hard drive, network attached storage hard drive, which happens to be a 5900 RPM drive, which is slow compared to 7,000 and 10,000 RPM drives.
Right.
Server environment usually have like a 10,000 RPM drive because it affects access speed and so on. But
it only affects access speed when you have a bunch of people.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
But because this is a network attached storage, I guess they don't expect it to have performance, number one. But I'm thinking, is this just another way to cleverly rebrand the old green drives?
I think it's also important, the thing that you don't get with the slower drives is the heat.
True, yeah.
And if you look at those enclosures now, they're not like what used to be at the companies. It's a little bitty thing. So you don't want it to get hot. It'll warp. It's plastic. I mean, a 10 or 15,000 RPM drive generates heat.
It would, and it definitely would generate heat.
That's what's in the VidBlaster machine down here, is a 15. And
so that's like a gyroscope. You can't move the machine off the table.
You can't move, yeah, and if it falls real slow.
That's right. And always lands on its feet.
919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype.
It was an interesting day for specials because in a rarity, the only ad I got in today's paper was Tiger Direct. No other retailer put an ad in the paper.
Really?
Yes.
So what? You had
normally it's Best Buy's always there. And
you had to go around looking for it?
What do you mean? I had to go online.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You had to go online and look for it?
So Tiger Direct was the only one that actually had a paper ad. And the
wow.
other ones, the old reliables, weren't there.
Wow.
I could tell this morning when I picked the paper up, I said, this is light compared to a normal paper. But it was okay. I mean, sometimes it makes it easier to search. But I find that as I go through the ads, the further in I go, the less stuff I write down. And that's probably because I just realized, hey, it's going on 45 minutes here. I need to wrap this up. But
Good morning, Andrew. You didn't hear Andrew, but Mike says he's going to be in at 10. Just so you know. Announcements for Andrew. All right, let's see. What else?
so did you see the comments that were coming out about Nokia handset business? I was reading some analysis that was out there this past week after folks had a chance to digest the story and look under the covers. And the ad, or I should say the headline I read in the commentary was, winner Samsung, loser Nokia. And they showed the current president, past president, and COOs of Nokia on the stage where they made the announcement with Microsoft. And the looks on their faces told the whole story.
What
My
happened?
gosh. What was once a $250 billion business, Nokia's handset division was sold for something a little over $7 billion. Still a lot of money, but compared to what it used to be worth, just remarkable course. They were the number one handset manufacturer in the world. They had it knocked. Remember when they were the first ones to come
It
out
was
with the really
Nokia, yeah.
small.
Everybody went according to what Nokia does.
Yeah, exactly. And it's small phones, easy, good usability, great features, bulletproof hardware. Just everything about it was great, and everybody tried to emulate Nokia. And now look what happened. They get bought by Microsoft in almost in an act of desperation. I think they made a really bad decision when they decided to go only Windows Phone. But I think that their fate was already sealed by that time.
You think maybe Microsoft did it on purpose because they wanted to ruin them?
Oh,
to
no,
buy
not
and
at all.
close it?
I think they bought them. It was a purchase of opportunity. They realized that they could get this for a lot cheaper than they would have been 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, they need a hardware. They need a hardware
Yeah.
maker, but even that's going to fail. There's no, I just don't. Man, can Windows Phone rise out of the ashes?
I don't know. But interesting, Bruce, this past week, Microsoft announced a trade-in for iPads, $200 trade-in towards the Surface. It's like, who's going to give up their iPad 2, 3, or 4, right, for $200 to buy a Surface? Come on. Give me a break. Unless it's like broken in half or something like that. Here's the box full of parts. But
Yeah. Tow it in, drag it in. $200.
and what would they do? What would they do with it once they got it? They're going to shred it?
But again, the ones that wins out of this whole thing in a way right now is customers because they're selling it for $100 less than anywhere else.
Yeah.
The 1020 is available for $100 less in the United States. Potentially a sign that Microsoft is already ringing the changes at Nokia.
There was one of the specials today was who was it? Acer made a Windows tablet. I think it's called the Iconia, if I can find it in the ads here. But that's already on clearance.
Iconia?
Iconia, yeah.
Okay.
Like Icon, Iconia.
Okay.
And let me see if I can find it it was one of the online ads, so I had to write it down. But I'll tell you what the price is in a second as soon as I find it here. But I thought that was pretty telling that it's already dropped into the clearance category. And it was reasonable if it has decent performance. It is an Atom processor, so it's not going to be... here, Acer Iconia 8.1-inch Windows 8 tablet, $279.
Uh-oh.
So, interesting.
What happened there?
I don't know. I didn't feel anything.
I think something
Oops.
happened to...
It says
Everything.
group video is unavailable at the moment. Please try again later.
Hey, leave that up there. That's a good picture of me. I look younger.
Wait a second. Let me just see if it's something to do with Skype.
Yeah, I just got the notification that says
I see
group
it.
video.
I see it on the
Yeah.
on the page. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm wondering if it. So you don't think it has anything to do with the fact with I had problems with Time Warner last night, but no, are we still? Yeah, we're still up.
Yeah. Only suggestion I would have, Spence, is
What?
toggle video off and on and see if it'll
All right, give it a try.
pop it back.
So it's just me?
No, it's both.
Oh. Actually, video, let's see. Yeah, group videos unavailable at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do something. I mean, should I disconnect you guys?
No, I don't think so.
Go ahead and just click on the camera
I did.
and back up.
Yeah, I did. It didn't change. It was actually disabled, and I enabled it, and it doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah, you can click it all you want. It just says your video is turned off. You can't turn it off and on.
No.
Shall I restart Skype?
I don't think it's you. I got the message. It could be the
Yeah,
call
but-
itself. No, it's Microsoft. They heard us what we were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Google.
said, we'll fix those guys.
Yeah, Google sent some of their Hangout bugs they've been notorious for this last week to invade the Skype group video camp.
Mike is saying go to a Google Hangout. Not that simple. I mean, we could still operate. It's not a. Go ahead, Spence.
Oh, where was I? Oh,
I don't
talking about
remember.
Microsoft or talking about Nokia or, well, just in general. Yeah, so it's an interesting turn of events. See how things go now, and I think there'll be as they say, an adjustment to the marketplace as we go forward. We'll see how it goes. I am looking forward to seeing how the shakeout, what gets shaken out of this whole thing. Because clearly something's going to change. Hopefully for the better, hopefully for the consumer and not affect competition. Competition is a good thing. So I had to go and Bruce had to go get the Chrome Remote Desktop as an app, which I have installed,
Right.
and I will go ahead and put it on another machine
Mm-hmm.
and check it out.
Cool.
There it comes.
Oh,
Now we're back.
there we
Now
go.
we're back.
See, it just happened all of a sudden, so it was a Skype thing for sure. But now you're going to have to
Yeah, it's fine. It's
I
already,
think I told you guys the story 20 years ago when was it? 20 years ago when I left IBM. I went to a startup company called Synoptics. So it wasn't such a startup then. It was around for a few years, but it was a much smaller company than what I worked for. But my manager at the time had a lot of international banking experience, telecommunications banking experience. He told me a story about how the branches, one particular branch over in Europe, would constantly have connectivity issues with the modems that went between the offices in New York and the offices in whatever city it was in Europe. And they couldn't figure out what was going on. It would be just random during the day. It always happened during the day between regular daytime shift hours, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. It turned out there was a disgruntled employee who I think he was on the IT staff, but he would go into the telecommunications room and just constantly keep pressing the reset button on the modem. I'm going to get you. And he'd be, I'm going to get you. And he'd press it again. I'm going to press it again. So they'd pulling their hair out, trying to figure out what's wrong. And there's this guy who's just killing the link, causing the modems to resync. Very interesting.
I'm gonna get you.
So let me see if I can show you some of the stuff that Google's doing that I find really interesting. I'm sharing my screen right now, and I think this original capture lends itself better to 16 by 9. But if you go to the Chrome Web Store, you'll see a little new red new button over here, and it says for your desktop. So if you install these desktop apps, what you end up getting, and you're not going to be able to see everything, but because of the way the capture is, but down on the bottom of your taskbar, you will have a new little icon that says Chrome App Launcher. And give me just a second to redraw this, because I really want you to see what I'm talking about, because I think this is definitely worth commenting about as to
Take
their
your time.
strategy.
It's fine.
So here's let me redraw this here. Let's see here and bring it back up again. So this is what you get. You get this little icon now on the bottom of your taskbar for these offline apps. And so now, like I can bring up Audio Sauna, for instance. Let me not do that one. That's not what I wanted to show you. Leave this page.
Ooh, it's getting hot.
Yeah.
Steamy.
Let's see. So if I bring up, let me go to like Pixlr TouchUp. This is a desktop app, independent of the browser, that they have for working with photographs. So I can go down here, and let me just quickly scroll down and just pick something so I can show you. I am a University of Miami fan, so you have these things that you can do with a picture. Let me see if I can kind of, it's a little bit bigger than what the capture area I drew, but I'll give you an example of another one. Like Wunderlist. This is a web app. Just to let you see, it's not in a browser. It's a standalone desktop app. So, what do you think about Google moving this direction and coming up with desktop apps that run separately of the browser like that?
I think it's a good hybrid of their original idea. I mean, they took the old what did they call it? Amnon, what was it called when you had the workstation that would boot over the network?
The workstation that would what?
No, the PC workstation that would boot over the network. Thin client.
The client. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you would have some embedded intelligence in the device that was like a brick. They have of course, they have the VDI bricks now, which are also similar to that idea taken forward, where you've got embedded apps as well as it requires network connectivity to really work. But there are some embedded things. But that's a really good hybrid of what happens when you're stuck with no network connection. You can't make the device completely useless. So you may as well put apps out there. Just got to watch out, because the drive size and the memory size is limited.
So, Bruce, all these are on the cloud? Or they are loaded from your storage on the Chromebook?
Well, I did that on my Chrome browser on my Windows 7 machine. So I know that you go to the Chrome Web Store and you install these.
But when you do that, does it install it on your own machine? So you are independent of internet connectivity, or you have to have internet connectivity to get to it?
Well, that depends. There are there's a whole category in the Chrome Web Store of offline apps that work totally independent of being online. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think it's a good thing. I mean, why not take advantage of the platform you've built?
Yep.
Yeah.
I tend not to read into this diabolical intentions. Mm-hmm. If it's going to help them, it helps us. If it's something we like,
it always helps.
As long as I'm always suspicious of some companies with their lock-in strategy and the way they do their licensing and so on. That gets you when they come out with some new idea that you go, wait a second, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. that giving something away for free at first and then pulling back later and starting to charge for it. I mean, you got to do that to make money, to stay in business. How do you develop this stuff? You don't have an endless supply of venture capital money just to keep pouring into a business and never make a profit. So, did you guys see the announcement, very kind of stealthy announcement that Facebook is going to have an IPO? Not Facebook, Twitter.
Twitter.
An IPO. Yep.
Yeah.
20 to $40 billion.
Hey.
And they're trying to learn from the Facebook
Ain't nothing wrong with
IPO.
that.
Oh no, I don't have a problem with it.
And by the same token, I read the story that Michael Dell is buying all the remaining shares for Dell in order to take it private.
Here was I just happened to stumble across this story. It's a few minutes late. There was saying here that before the sale to Microsoft, Nokia was testing Android on its Lumia phones. Despite the fact that they had this agreement with Microsoft to produce Windows phones, it would have expired in 2014, and they would have been able to go to market with Android a lot sooner. So it's interesting. Said that had Nokia produced a Lumia-like device running Android with features such as the 41 megapixel camera. Oh, interesting. My camera's bigger than your camera.
Yeah. Speaking of Sony, I found this story interesting. You know, I have a Chromecast and I've enjoyed working on it. But Sony is revealing now its own Chromecast-like Bravia Smart Stick device. And this is an HDMI device, kind of like the Chromecast, plugs into your TV, and it comes with this nifty little remote. But you know, Sony is man, they're doing some big moves right now. When you think about their new line of Android phones, the Xperia, I mean, they're really producing some incredible hardware. But now they're coming up with this smart stick device to, you know, of course, I'm sure they were working on this maybe even before Google started working on the Chromecast, or at least simultaneously. But they're not letting any grass grow under their feet.
And that's a good thing. I mean, Sony seems to come out with, well, usually, let's not talk about some of the things they did in the music space and the PC space, but from a consumer goods perspective, video cameras, and I had most of the video cameras that I've owned more than any other brand was Sony. And the one I have one on my desk still here that I'm using to capture 8mm and digital 8 tapes is a Sony camcorder that works. And the prior one that I had, which was an 8mm, still works. Or it still worked. I gave it away because I just had no use for it. I didn't see or need to keep a regular 8mm camcorder when I had this one that does both 8mm and digital 8 in the same device.
Spence,
So,
are
yeah.
you using a cam that uses tape?
No, not now. I'm using the Logitech webcam.
No, I mean for do you have a camera that uses tape?
I do, but I don't use it to record. I just use it to capture.
Okay.
Play the tapes back, and I can save them. But it's
the cam that I'm using now for me here is one that I just got. I mean, it's an older cam. It's still SD, but it's higher megapixel.
yeah.
And all these are mini DV.
And you're coming. Yeah, the mini DV I have is actually a Canon.
Well, the only reason I'm saying is because the guy that I bought it from sent with it about 30 tapes. And I don't use them, so I don't want to just store them away.
You know, I would still use, save them. I would still use the Canon DV tape, although I do have a Kodak camcorder that's to SD card. It's pretty good quality. I mean, it was that one that was waterproof to 10 feet and a few other things. I would say it was an inexpensive device. If I was into video recording, I might get a better platform. But I find my point and shoot Canon camera, the new one that I bought last year, does great video. Just for the video needs I have, I don't shoot a lot of video anymore. Not like I used to.
Hello, Nick.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Not bad.
I woke up late. I mean,
Did the show start late?
Well, about 2 minutes. I mean, not because of that, because we were waiting for Mike. But no, I didn't have a chance to do anything. And
the key is that you woke up.
That's right. Good morning, Nick.
You went to sleep late too.
Who?
You.
I didn't go to sleep till 3 o'clock.
Dang. Right after you left, my internet went down.
Yeah. Did it?
That's
how long did that take?
You overheated it.
Yeah, it stayed off for probably about 15, 20 minutes. I mean, I kept on rebooting the router and the modem and the switch. And I mean, it had connectivity, but just a little bit slower than 14.4.
Did you expect anything better from Time Warner?
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Yeah, but their commercials are saying it's so good.
Yeah, Bill Cower's even promoting them.
Who do I believe?
They're telling you it's faster than satellite internet. I don't think so. Not a lot of the time.
Well, maybe we'll have to move to Charlotte and use LTE, right, Bruce?
Oh, yeah.
Bruce is saying he got, 40 down? And
Yeah, 40-something down and a little over 20 up.
What about the ping, though? That's the real issue with 4G.
It was less than 20.
Wow. Okay.
That's better than what I get every day here with Time Warner.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Normally,
I get 30-some, I'm good.
Normally ping is 200 or 300 on 4G. Surprising.
My ping here is 22. I just checked it. And
I wonder where Ooga Booga is.
Who?
There's somebody on the chat. Ooga Booga says the audio is...
Oh.
Oh, well.
They could be having internet.
I don't know, but
has your
I don't
internet
know.
restabilized?
I don't know about that because first he says freeze frame here, but audio is good, and then he goes and says audio is choppy. What's the deal? So I don't know.
Hey, Nick, we experienced first here this morning on Skype. The group video went away and was not available, although the call was still connected, and then it came back.
Oh, no. It's a sign.
Yep.
Sign of the future.
Hey, did you hear about the Google car driver who was involved in a 3-car crash? And
no, really.
Yeah, and he took off and ran.
Did he?
So I'm wondering if the chase is going to be on satellite view.
I was going to say they would have captured it. No problem.
I mean, the whole thing must have been captured.
Yeah.
That's
unless he turned the capture off, which he might have. There's a way to.
I wonder if they know how to. I wonder if they actually.
Yeah, because if there's an issue and they have to like detour something, they probably just turn capture off.
Yeah. So here's the story.
Yeah,
this
but you
Indonesian
don't.
man had been driving a Subaru hatchback in the Bogor district on the outskirts of the capital, Jakarta, on Wednesday with Google's logo and a camera poking from the roof when he hit a public minivan. He did accompany the minivan driver to the garage, but he said he was scared the repair fee would be high, so he got in his damaged car and fled. The minivan driver got in his vehicle, gave chase for around 3 kilometers before the Google car smashed into a second minivan. He tried to flee again, but soon crashed into a parked truck before he gave up. He was detained after the third crash and taken in for questioning.
Now, was that Google's car or his car? It makes it seem like it's his car.
It was a Google car. It was a Google branded car.
So then why would he care about repair fees? If it's Google's car, they'll repair it, right?
What country was it?
Pardon me?
know.
What country was it?
Indonesia.
Yeah, Jakarta.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a contractor or
Yeah.
a situation where it wasn't really owned by Google, or maybe the guy just had a really bad driving record.
Yeah, it just says Google could not be contacted for comment. Google has previously run into trouble with Street View. You know, 'cause we know some of those stories. But anyway.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it has been. Oh yeah, unless he wasn't taking pictures at the time, because you don't know that you're going to get into an accident. By the time you get into it, it's already captured.
You know what's funny though? You know, literally every single street in the United States, and and almost like a lot of streets across the world all have the Street View, and it's so rare that we hear about these accidents. I'm surprised they're not a lot more common. You would think with these people, taking pictures of every single street, that there'd be a lot more issues.
That's the Australian Google thing. Right? So, hey, it's interesting. If you haven't downloaded or used it yet, Google released an update to their Google Maps app, and at least in the Android store.
Okay.
And I used it. Yes, it is better than ever in my estimation. Some people were griping about some of the changes they made in Google Maps, and when they took away Navigate and kind of made it all part of the Google Maps, but it was phenomenal yesterday using it. So if you haven't used it in a while, of course now we got all the Waze goodies there. So nice job on the map update, Google.
Have we talked about the iPhone yet?
No.
Why
we
not?
were going to. We were. It's in the queue.
That's the biggest news of the week. This should have been the first story. You should have started the show with that. This is ridiculous.
No.
This is not an accurate source of news. I'm never watching again.
I was waiting for Mike to be here too.
Oh. Yeah, actually, we should probably wait, Mike. That'd be funny.
So I was.
Well, he does have an iPhone, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
I was chatting with somebody yesterday over in my particular case, I have an iPhone 4, and the price of the S is going to be very
Free.
low, and the 5s will probably be.
No more fives.
The
4S is
original
free.
5 will probably drop
Can't buy the five anymore.
on clearance. So I'm wondering, probably not going to go with the very latest one.
No,
I do need an upgrade.
Spencer, I'm pretty sure that they don't sell the 5. I don't think you can buy the 5 anymore.
And the 4S is free.
The 4S is free, and they don't sell the 5. It's just the 4S, 5C, and 5S. I'm pretty sure the 5 is gone.
There's got to be, well, maybe it's only internal at Apple. I know that they would big discounts. I don't have access to that anymore, but
yeah, I mean, you can get one. You can get them unlocked from Apple for like $600 or $700, but you won't be able to get them on contract through any carrier. But the 5C will only hopefully be $100. So,
Yeah, for the 16 gigabyte version. Spencer, it's time for you to leave the dark side.
Bruce, I've actually been considering that because my daughter's a big Android fan and has kept up and has several devices. The ones where she's retired, she's still using, and I'm wondering if I should take the plunge for a while. I could always switch back.
yeah,
If
it's good to give it a try. I mean, I had 3 iPhones before I had an Android. And it was just like, just want to try something different. Not that iPhone is bad, but just, something gets old, you want to try something different.
Well, now I'm not compelled to stay with the iPhone due to applications because I'm not working for the company anymore that sells these apps. So it wouldn't be such a big deal. Yeah, I am due for an upgrade.
You can hold out an extra few months. I don't know, maybe 2 months. I'm not sure if Bruce has any more information, but the next 5 looks really appealing. So that could possibly be an option.
Yep.
Spencer's saying, Bruce is saying that the Note 2 is now $99?
Well, it's
Is it?
116. I expect it'll be 99 in a week or so once the Note 3 starts shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bruce, you're on AT&T, correct?
I am.
Any clue when we're going to be getting those updates? They said October, but I mean, not sure when AT&T is going to actually push them out.
Yeah, I don't know. They were the last carrier to push out the first Jelly Bean update when it came out when we went to 4.1.2.
Oh boy.
So I'm hoping they'll do a better job on 4.4 maybe. We might get the Kit Kat. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, why do 4.3 when, I'm willing to wait and get 4.4, so.
Did you see what Andrew wrote in chat?
So Samsung has announced that their next phones they're going to come out with their own 64-bit processor. What's the compelling reason for a 64-bit processor in a phone?
It's just like Spence said earlier.
Yeah.
Fast texting.
Oh,
no, I think it's just a battery killer. Personally, I don't see what you're doing on a mobile phone with mobile applications that can possibly take advantage of a 64-bit processor.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, so if you don't need the fingerprint reader, and you don't need the champagne gold colored thing, Spence, I recommend the Purple 5C for you.
Purple?
Yes.
Yeah, and then get a green neon case with holes in the back of it.
Yeah.
Do I need to get a feng shui consultant then?
And that coupled with iOS 7 that's coming out, you'll have this really kind of southeast-looking colored phone.
With Android-like features.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably because all the factories that make the chips for them notified all the manufacturers, look, everything is going 64-bit. We are not going to be able to produce any more 32-bit. If you want, we'll do it, but it's going to cost you 4 times more because we're changing all of our machinery. So they're going to 64. That's just amazing. 64 in a phone.
I think that's stupid.
Andrew says get a Palm Trio. I had the first one. It was a Trio 180. It was black and white.
Racist.
It was a flip phone. Oh man, what a great device. I mean, I was in hog heaven when I had that. It was the first. The handspring had a little thing where you could get a little dongle and turn your little handspring PDA into a phone. But the Trio 180 was the first smartphone, at least in my estimation. And man, it was cool.
I remember, Spencer. Remember that's what Param had.
Yeah, I think he did.
And he was always talking about it.
I was just thinking about that too.
The Trio. Yeah.
We need to later on, after the specials, we need to have a little discussion about wireless networking at home. There's a device from Netgear that's out now that I think is of particular interest. A little bit different spin on wireless extenders.
And here's another story. Throwing some cold water on the buzz surrounding the Galaxy Gear smartwatch launch. The New Yorker's Matt Buchanan questions how smart a watch can really be. Calling offerings like the Galaxy Gear useful, but not the stuff of dreams and revolutions, Buchanan writes. So there remains a strange undercurrent of hope that somebody, Apple will figure out soon, some grander vision for wearable technology, transforming it from something that people have vaguely imagined into something people intensely desire. It did it for smartphones once and again for tablets. The questions that Apple has been charged with, since nobody has definitively answered it yet, is whether the lack of an invention that truly carries us beyond the last 500 years of wrist-mounted technology is the result of a failure of imagination or simply a fact of nature that a watch will always just be a watch. No matter how smart it might think it is. No matter how smart it might think it is. So will you be an early adopter and drink Samsung's or Sony's smartwatch Kool-Aid? Wait to see what Apple comes up with. Or hold out for a Windows forearm Pad 8. Let me
I
see
remember
here a
getting.
second.
Do you remember the original calculator watches where they had the physical buttons
Yeah.
on them?
Yeah.
I actually had a Casio that had a touchscreen calculator on it.
Whoa.
Oh, that was a great watch. I forget what it cost. It was.
Did it
probably
tell the
too
time?
expensive. Yeah, it was one of the features. But it worked really good, and then suddenly the touchscreen stopped working, and it was still a good watch, but it didn't do the calculator part anymore.
Don't touch me.
Amazing.
Don't touch me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew, looks like Andrew is having fun in the chat.
He's attacking me.
I need to follow it. I don't know. Anyway.
Okay, so I think I feel like we have this discussion every few months here, but batteries they suck, right? I mean, I had to change batteries yesterday, and I was thinking with everything that's going on with cell phones and computers and why am I still changing batteries
On that new phone?
No, not just like I had to change the batteries in my Roku remote yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's just the realization that we're still using this ancient technology to power our things.
Well, there was a story I was reading earlier about wireless that covers 30 feet radius. Wireless charging.
Yeah. I don't understand how we can do it. We can do anything with all of these other devices. We just can't power them. I mean, I'm not sure I don't think wireless is the future. I really don't, because you have to be in a confined area for wireless to work. Like, why can't your phone be charging whenever there's motion, or whenever there's any movement? Why can't something be charging?
Good point.
Like self propulsion.
I still have a Seiko wristwatch.
Yeah, self winding, right?
Yeah. As you move, it winds.
It whines like it complains.
Wah.
Oh,
It goes wah.
it's the gripe watch. I have two. When I was in Berlin back in 1994, back when they were still the East Berlin and West Berlin had been unified, but they had just started to really build on the East German side, and there were tables set up at Checkpoint Charlie where you could buy souvenirs of the Cold War, pieces of the Berlin Wall, stuff like that. But I actually have two KGB officers' watches that were sold at this. They would sell anything they could, the Russian military, to try to make money. You could buy uniforms, all kinds of stuff. But I bought two of these watches, and they're self-winding watches, and they both still work. They're just very interesting. I show it. I should show you what it looks like. But
I have one watch story. I had an OBGYN doctor who was a member of one of the churches I pastored.
You had an OBGYN doctor?
Yeah, he was a member of the church I pastored. He gave me a really nice Seiko watch, and I was on a scuba diving trip. And before I went over, I forgot to take it off, and so I was down for 30 minutes or so, and just having a great dive. And when I got up, I realized that that I had the watch on, and so then I thought to try to revive it, I would put it in the microwave.
Oh no!
Big mistake.
it dries it out.
Yeah. What is this, Spence?
That's my new watch.
Oh.
It's a 1970s Ocean, OHSEN, men's LED digital sports watch.
Ooh.
You can get it for $9.95 on eBay.
What happened after 9 o'clock?
Let's see.
What is that
question?
This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Well, it goes 10.
I don't see
Okay,
10.
then it goes. The 10 light comes on and it adds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's if none of these lights are lit, here I'm over here.
So tell us what time is it according to that watch right now?
So if
19
none
o'clock.
of these lights are lit, Let's see. It's good question.
It's 1930.
Doesn't roll off the.
It's 11:29 p.m.
That's what it looks like.
That's what I see.
Well, I'm not sure that 11's actually lit. It might
You
be
walk
some-
down the street and somebody's asking you, "Excuse me, what time is it?" And you look and say, "Where? Not sure." Sir,
you just-
what time is
It's
it?
10:39.
No, you just show them the watch and walk away.
Figure it out.
Bye.
It had a whole 2-hour battery time.
Jeez.
Very interesting.
Okay. In that whole thing, Bruce's story kind of faded. What is it, Bruce? What was it about?
Oh, don't try to dry out your watch in a microwave.
Did the microwave survive?
The microwave survived. There was a
Was there
little blue flash, but
Yeah.
it,
Like don't dry your miniature poodle in the microwave either after you've washed it.
yes.
All right, now let's see if we can get Mike in here without. Yeah, it's all right. Good morning.
Good morning.
So what's going on with the lazy bum?
Well, I'll tell you,
Uh-oh.
I actually overslept. I haven't slept that long.
Actually, guess what? I did too, but not into the show though.
I rolled over and I said, I hope it's at least 7 o'clock, and it was 9:06.
Wow, but that's okay.
No,
You
it is
needed it.
okay.
Yes,
You needed it,
it's
yeah.
fine. You need it. You
Yeah,
need it. If you
don't-
slept, that
gotta
means
do that every so often.
I've never done it to my knowledge.
Even in our advanced age, it's an accomplishment to sleep past 7.
Not doing that.
Hey, by the way, thanks yesterday for tweeting out and mentioning something about the Juvenile Diabetes Association. Maybe you can say something about it here, too. But
Absolutely.
My wife and I were on their way to see her naturopath, and she was telling me about a family in our church. They tragically lost a child of sudden infant death syndrome, but their 7-year-old who was diagnosed diabetic and is moving to an insulin pump, and the insurance company won't cover the whole cost of it. They're left with about $4,000. And they're having a big kind of promotion fundraiser to help her be able to get that. And it made me think about. I was telling my wife about what you had mentioned yesterday, and really,
something is not right here, though, Bruce.
what's that?
A whole pump is about 4,000.
Well, I don't.
Something is. I mean, unless they have other bills that. But I mean, the pump when Hannah started, like about 10 years ago, it was 5,000.
Well, let's
Yeah.
back up a step.
That's
Let's
interesting.
make sure for people who don't know what's going on. The Amnon, and you tell this stuff freely, so I hope I'm not talking out of school. Amnon is a type 2 diabetic. His daughter is a type 1 and is on the insulin pump. Amnon, being the very smart person that he is, has made himself somewhat of an expert in this area. So whenever these issues arise, because my son's fiance is type 1 diabetic, it's my real first exposure to it and has kind of opened my eyes in quite a lot of ways. And so when Amnon speaks about this, I listen.
Right. Yeah. The MiniMed Paradigm 522 retails at $5,200. So maybe it's that their insurance company is not going to cover the cost. Maybe they don't have the durable medical equipment rider on their policy. But anyway, so yeah, my wife is a type 1 diabetic, been on an insulin pump over 20 years, and she was commenting on the size of the first insulin pump. It was about a 5 by 7 inch device. And she showed me a picture on the internet of the guy who invented the insulin pump and how big the first one was. It was bigger than most backpacks you see, and you had to wear it with straps on your shoulder. So it's amazing, the technology, how far it's come. And now they have I believe, Amnon, don't they have that closed loop system now that will automatically measure your blood sugar? And
Well, yes, they do. They have the sensors that measure it, but the problem is that a pump can give you more insulin to counter if it's high.
Right.
But if you get a low, that's when you need to get sugar, and there's no automatic recovery from that. You still have to check your blood to see if you have a low, or you feel it actually when you go low, and you know that you need to eat something. So yes, they do have that, and Mike can tell you they're not cheap.
Right.
But that's because what I was in the business that I'm in, I deal with a lot of researchers, and particularly at times a lot of medical researchers. I always take the opportunity to ask as many questions as I can if it's anything about which I can speak intelligently. Just this past week, I was talking to a diabetes researcher, asking him, I said, with the technology where we are right now, I said, if you look at and actually my example wasn't a good one. I said, we've got a voltage regulator in a car. If the voltage gets too high, the regulator knocks it down. If it's too low, it brings it up. That's not quite right, but it's a good comparison anyway. I said, with the technology being closed loop, automatic, and I guess I could have brought up the fact that an automatic level control device like Andrew's OmniStream, whatever the device is, that it levels things out. If it's too low, it brings it up. If it's too high, it brings it down. I said, that technology is a servo closed-loop technology. Why don't we have that available for people with diabetes? He said, oh, we have it. We have it. It's just most people really don't want to push around a piece of equipment in a shopping cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean,
Now, why is that particularly relevant? Because, and I don't mean this unkindly in any way. I mean it with all seriousness and compassion, but I don't donate to a lot of daily causes, and because there's a new one. I mean the what is this Fraternal Order of Police calls because they want 90% for fundraising or 10%. Well, I don't know what the numbers are, but I don't respond to those, and I don't respond if someone calls my house looking for a donation. We don't donate. If they want to send me information and let me look at it, or if it's something that I feel compelled to do, I do it. But you don't call my house and get my credit card number. It just doesn't happen. Having said that, I'm not that involved with the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, JDRF.org, but it turns out that a buddy of mine is involved, Beth Knott. And the reason Beth is involved is because she has two nieces who are both type 1. Statistically, that's a 1 in a million chance that two sisters in the same family would both end up type 1. It just doesn't happen. So naturally, she feels like she wants to make some contribution. Now, I understand why she's involved. But what sort of struck me, and it only hit me this week, in fact, I was traveling. It was after speaking with this researcher, it occurred to me, there are many diseases. My brother recently passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. The whole time he was sick, never once did I research that disease on the internet. The reason I didn't research it is because a couple of reasons. The first being that, A, there is no cure. There are treatments, there is no cure. B, there's not going to be a cure in time to save him. That's not even in the cards. Third, they really don't even understand the disease, and they can't cure it until they understand the disease. So jumping on the bandwagon for ALS, you know what? I'm glad some people are doing it. I wasn't called to do that. And having said that, why the diabetes thing struck me. We are at the point now where not only might we be close to an artificial pancreas, might we be close to, in fact, there have been some instances in lab animals where a certain treatment for a condition was given to an animal and the darn pancreas started working. There may be something in the offing that we have to identify that may be helpful. Forget that. Forget the cure. We now, as I am in the technology business, we are at a position now with enough time and research and money, we may be able to better manage this problem without ever finding a cure. Maybe we never find a cure, but if all you have to do is wear a little piece on the side of your body, like an insulin pump, but it does infinitely more than the current equipment does, that's worth investigating, and that's worth the research that improves the quality of life. I don't know if it'll be 10 years or 100 years, but at some point, absent a cure, the technology will make it such that a diabetic can go into an ice cream shop and eat ice cream, and this external device will compensate for that sugar rush just like it does for people with a healthy pancreas.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm confident that's going to happen.
Yeah, my wife does that manually now. If she wants to bolus for something like that she wants to eat. By the way, it's interesting. I put a jelly bean skin on my wife's insulin pump. Here's a picture of it right here. So a little levity to a rather somber conversation, but it's. I'm really thankful. My wife is a nurse, takes really good care of herself. Her A1Cs are always good. She fortunately has no kidney problems, no eye problems. I'm very, very thankful for that. But this is a serious thing. So if you can help out,
it's serious if you don't take care of yourself.
Right.
The tools are available out there these days to take good care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's enough knowledge to take good care of yourself. Of course, it can be made better. And,
okay, but let me go one step further, Amnon, and why this particular matter is important to me. This is the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation.
Right.
It's hard to tell a 7-year-old child, you know what, you got a problem your classmates don't have. You're not going to be able to go to that birthday party and eat that birthday cake. You're not. You have things, you can't go swimming just by jumping off into the diving board. You got to deal with your equipment. You've got to, little children don't understand that, and I think we are close to making the quality of their lives better. Again, forget the cure. I hope it happens, but I think we're at the point of making some significant progress, and I'm going to find the link so that, because her name is Beth Knott. Beth is a fabulous lady. I'm going to post it in the chat room.
Would you like me to post it? I have it.
Yes, please do. I would like, you know what? This is tacky. If it is, get over it. People have asked me, Mike, how can I help you? How can I pay you for the help you've given me with my audio, with my mixer? You've spent a lot of time helping me. Okay, go to this website and donate $5 or $10 or $100 or $1,000. Go donate it. She's already hit her goal. That's irrelevant. She's $40 over her goal. Let's double her goal.
And it's mainly thanks to you. Thanks to your efforts.
Well, no, it's not thanks, Miss. Thanks to the people who care.
No, I mean, thanks to the fact that you brought it to other people's attention. Let's put it this way.
This is a good cause. This is not wasting money. This is not an event that requires a lot of overhead to conduct. The money goes to the organization to do the research. So get off your butt and click on the link and go contribute some money.
Yep.
Amen. So
yeah, a lot of our older folks that have type 2, we can blame our lifestyle and our lack of exercise and what have you. What?
Not totally. There's some genetics involved.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean,
the researchers think there's some genetics involved. I've already checked
that.
They
also think that there's some genetic involved with type 1 diabetes, and when they found out nobody in our family or Kathy's family had it, they said, well, why did she get it? Don't know. I mean, it happens.
It's an autoimmune disease that kills the pancreas.
With the kids, it's a different story. It's like Mike said, it's hard to explain to a 7-year-old.
And I will tell you this without mentioning the name of the company, because I don't want it to come across wrong. But the healthcare company that I work for, we no longer decline type 2 diabetics, as most insurance companies do, if you're buying, unless you're on a group plan. And the reason being is our health initiatives department, we have certified health coaches. We have seen dozens and dozens and dozens of people with type 2 diabetes totally reverse the disease.
Why don't you want to give the name?
Well, because I don't, because it's not important. I mean,
it's important. It's important for people to know if they're looking.
They want to know about it.
Yeah, I think it's important.
It's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I brought this up because I really appreciated what you had to say about it, and I'm passionate about it as well, and that's the genesis of this conversation. So we're not in it for personal gain or anything else like that. So.
Well, let's just say that if Bruce has tweaked you and you're curious, you can contact him offline, and he'll be glad to talk with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
The link is in chat. Get off your butt. Go in there, click on it, give them $1. I mean, every little bit helps.
So Intel is starting to ship the 4th generation Haswell for the tablets, which brings power-efficient processors and hence much better battery life, Nick, to Windows tablets, which doesn't help anybody because I don't think anybody owns one. According to IDG, Intel has now started shipping new low-power 4th generation Core i3 processors, including one that draws as little as 4.5 watts of power in specific usage scenarios. You have to hold your mouth in a certain way. The new Haswell processors could go into fanless tablets and laptops, tablet hybrids, bringing longer battery life to the devices. This is a great news for Windows lovers who have had to sacrifice performance for battery life, and vice versa, until now. Now, with almost 50% better battery life, as promised by Intel for Windows tablets, the OEMs have no real need to come out with Windows RT-based tablets and hybrids anymore. Do we know anybody that owns a Surface?
I know of a lady who owns a Surface, and she loves it.
Oh, okay. I don't know anybody that does. So what else is going on?
Well, Mike, we were talking about the iPhone. If you're an iPhone user, are you interested in either one of the new devices when it's time for you to upgrade?
I'm not interested in the cheap one. I'm curious about the other one. I don't listen to that rah-rah, so I don't know much about it. I know that the plastic cheap one doesn't interest me in the least. Mm-hmm. The thing that I'm unhappy about with my iPhone now is it does not do 5 gig wireless. It only does the 2 gig wireless. It's like all Apple products. It's a generation behind, and it was when it was released. The camera on the 4S is better than the 4 that I have. It would be very nice to have a nicer camera because it's very convenient to have a nice camera. I don't like having to throw away all my cables to get the new, what is it called, Lightning connector?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that what it's called? I don't like that. But is the new one the 5S?
Yep.
All right, if it's the 5S, and the big issue, I think, with that one will be battery life. Is the battery life any better than the 4? If it's not better than the 4, I don't really have a lot of incentive to change.
Isn't there... Oh, 5C, isn't it?
That's the
There's
5G.
2.
That's cheap. 5C, cheap. It's only $600.
No, you can buy it for $99. What is it? 5 what?
It's on contract, yeah.
That's subsidized.
Who doesn't subsidize anymore?
I didn't.
No, I mean, which company? Or every company subsidize?
Every
or
company does.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, every company offers non-subsidized
I see.
packages, but, I mean, it'd be dumb not to subsidize if you can.
Okay. So it's not like everybody has to go and shell out $800 or $600 for a phone. You can still get it subsidized. I thought there was some announced that they will no longer be subsidizing. So it's interesting. And talking about phones, I was talking with Uzi this week. And apparently, T-Mobile is getting better and better coverage in the States. And their plans are much cheaper if you compare apples to apples. Right now, for 3 phones, I'm paying $209, 700 minutes shared. And, I mean, we don't use it all. And same thing with T-Mobile, but we don't have unlimited text and unlimited this and unlimited that. And that's with Verizon. Apparently with T-Mobile, it'll be somewhere around the $120 or so.
With no service, of course.
With service? What do you mean with no service?
T-Mobile's their service just isn't good. It's not stable. It's not everywhere.
Well, I don't know. That's the thing is, again.
Oh, I know.
To me, it doesn't matter because I don't travel. I don't. I just don't. You know, if every now and then I would have to go somewhere, so be it. But if you are using it mainly around your own city, your own state, whatever, and it works, then what the hell?
But do you know that T-Mobile works? That's the thing.
No,
T-Mobile doesn't work.
I don't. I'm saying that this just came from talking, and he was saying how with Verizon, sometimes he doesn't even have signal where he lives, and with T-Mobile, somebody that's there with T-Mobile, and they have 3 bars.
T-Mobile's really bad.
What?
I said T-Mobile's really bad.
I don't know. You know it for a fact?
I do.
Okay. All
I have
right.
many friends that have it, and if you have T-Mobile, it's basically if you're not on Wi-Fi, you're not doing anything on your phone.
Interesting.
Nate Swanner, one of the editors and writers for Android Authority, thinks is a non-contract, non-subsidized guy, has a Nexus 4 and loves T-Mobile. So I think it depends on everybody's experience. It may be people that you know in your neck of the woods up there where there's not good coverage, but I think Amnon began this story with how that their coverage is improving. So while it may not be good, and that's really the number one criteria for choosing a phone is what's the coverage like in your area, and then you move on to other questions that are important. So I don't necessarily think it's bad for everybody.
Don't know. I mean, I'm again, it's not from personal experience, and it's obviously just from one person's point of view so far. But it'll be interesting to find out if it's really the case in certain areas. Again,
it's like at my daughter's apartment. When I go in her apartment, I have no bars. I'm dead in the water on AT&T here in Lynchburg.
and what is she on? What is her phone?
She's using the Walmart Straight Talk T-Mobile thing,
And
she's got coverage in her apartment.
well,
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm.
All right, let's see. So we were talking about the fact that SSDs. Were you here, Nick, when we were talking about
I don't
Linus
believe I was.
Torvald?
There are treatments for that too now, Amnon.
There was a story about Linus Torvald that his SSD died on his machine, and because of it, the development of the new kernel 3.12 is going to be
iOS.
delayed. So it's here's now. I said on the news that Linus Torvalds SSD went belly up while he was coding the 3.12 kernel. Computer World took a closer look at SSDs and their failure rates. While Torvalds didn't specify the SSD manufacturer in his blog, he did write a 2008 blog that he purchased an 80 gigabyte Intel SSD, likely the X25, which has become something of an industry standard for SSD reliability. While they may have no mechanical parts, making them preferable for mobile use, there are many factors that go into an SSD being reliable. For example, a NAND die, the SSD controller, capacitors, or other passive components can and do slowly wear out or fail entirely. As an investigation into SSD reliability performed by Tom's Hardware noted, we know that SSDs still fail. All it takes is 10 minutes of flipping through customer reviews on Newegg's listings. Yet, according to IHS, client SSD annual failure rates under warranty tend to be around 1.5%, while HHDs are near 5%. So SSD not only outperform, but on average outlast spinning disks. We know that, but we were hoping that it's going to take a little bit longer for them to fail. And 1.5% is, in my opinion, that's a lot.
Yeah, but that number, there were technologies in the past that had failure rates like that, even higher, that people just accepted it because it was new.
Well,
but you're right. Yeah, that's a lot. You're right. If you one or two drives out of every 200 failing or whatever, 150, a lot.
And the idea here is, okay, it's not spinning, it doesn't have any moving parts, so it should last. We were worried about how many times it can rewrite, remember? And turns out that it's going to be over your lifetime. So we said, oh, well, everything is okay then. But here is a failure. Now, shame on him for not having backup again. Somebody like that will not have backups.
How detailed was the account of the failure? Did they give any circumstances as to whether was there any environmental issues?
I didn't read. I didn't see it anywhere.
Wouldn't it be interesting if it turned out that there was a power surge or something?
I don't know.
I remember, Mike, you actually talked about this some when we were first looking at solid-state drives and talking about the reliability of flash drives and the different types of technology they use and algorithms for assigning new write locations so that you never write over the same place twice in a row without exhausting all the other locations first.
Right, it's garbage memory.
Yeah, so it's but then the stated size of the drive is a lot bigger than what they state it is because there's so much bad memory that's not used. But interesting.
Huh?
So, Mike, any comments on Ray Dolby dying?
Well, not particularly. I mean, I wasn't this gigantic Ray Dolby follower fan. I mean, what he did was he was an early audio pioneer. He's the one who created Dolby noise reduction used on FM broadcast and particularly on cassette tape. In terms of audiophile results, it was not the be-all to end-all, but he was a great inventor. He loved audio. He could hear audio. He was one of the pioneers who motivated others to come up with a lot of the things we have now. So I guess what I would say about Ray Dolby is it must be really flattering to his family that this man came in and made the name for himself and gained the respect that he did and is honored in his death. So, I mean, hats off to him.
Apparently he was in decline, had Alzheimer's for several years. So,
there's actually research now that suggests that the higher your IQ is, the more quickly you decline with Alzheimer's. So I guess we're all safe for years.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to make it to 150.
Most encouraging thing I've heard all day. Thank you, Mike.
Well, I guess the higher you are off a cliff, the faster you're falling by the time you hit the bottom.
Well, right. I don't know about you, but I've got a big problem then. I was asking a question in the Hangout the other day. Say, yeah, everybody does. No sooner Did Microsoft release the latest round of Black Tuesday patches? Then screams of agony began sounding all over the internet.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Reporting on verified problems with Microsoft automatic updates. And they give the
Happened to me.
numbers.
It happened to me.
The latest round of Microsoft Auto Update hell comes on the heels of one of the worst runs in MS Patch Tuesday history. And just in time for Microsoft to expand the scope of its automatic update damage. Does this make you feel warm and fuzzy about automatic app updates in Windows 8.1? The one I'm talking about was actually the ones for Office. I was sitting there. I did the, and I said, didn't it already do it? And I said, go ahead and do it. And it finished. I said, okay. And I'm looking at the thing, and it says updates are available. And again, and again, and again. I said, okay, that's a problem. So I just had to hide them. But had people ask me if there was a problem, and I didn't know at the time that morning. So I was just kind of asking, and Mike said, yeah, everybody does.
Hey, let me, since you guys are in Raleigh, right?
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine. He's part of an online life group that I do. His
The
name
one,
is
the one with the balloons.
No, his name is Stephen H. Smith. He's a disabled veteran, and he's a really good guy. He's on the verge of perhaps being homeless. Has had a few heart attacks here recently, and the VA is. Anyway, he's had a really rough road. Iraq War veteran, and he's in Raleigh, and I'm not sure. Most of his online stuff is done at a McDonald's close by a mobile home park where he currently lives. But he posted in our group. He said, "So I updated Windows, and now that the computer has restarted, I get the following error: C//Windows/System32/config/System Profile/desktop refers to a location that is unavailable." He says, in other words, my desktop is gone. Everything that was saved to it is gone. Some of my programs are no longer accessible. I can't even find Internet Explorer or Notepad. Anybody have any idea how to fix this? And then he posts, I have tried System Restore. It errors out. Evidently, the restore points are or were in a folder that seems to be missing. I've tried running System Repair off the install disk. It says there's nothing wrong. I've tried ScanDisk, same thing. Command prompt is now missing. I'm going into other posts, doing a search for it, comes up blank. Luckily, remembered I installed Windows PowerShell. I'm trying a few things using that. This guy's not a novice when it comes to computers. And he says, okay, I've tried everything, including I can think of or find on the web. Nothing's working. I'm wondering, you can let me know privately offline, but if there's anybody, if any of you guys would be interested in maybe meeting up with this guy in the McDonald's where he hangs out sometimes, see if you can help him.
Okay.
I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we could.
Sounds like he went already through most of it.
I'll put his Facebook profile in the chat.
I wonder if you can go to the Windows backups and Windows updates and roll them back. And
Well,
look
he's
who's
tried.
here. Look who's here.
Who's here?
Steve.
here?
Hear him.
No, Steve, we can't hear you. All right, we'll let you work it out, but we can't hear you.
We can't see you either.
Well, no, he's on.
I know. Yep.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bruce.
Yeah. Anyway, so I put his link in the chat if you want to.
Yeah, but did you just ask him if he rolled
What?
back?
Yeah, he's tried that.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe it's Brent. I believe it's a laptop, and I'm not sure what the brand is. It's a window. He's running Windows 7, and I'll see if I can find out. But he doesn't have internet at the mobile home park where he lives, so I'm not sure if he's at the McDonald's now. But I'll see what I can find out.
Does he have any backups?
I'm not
I
sure.
doubt it.
I'm not sure if he does, but he's a good guy. He had a job and a delivery job and had an accident that was not his fault. Got laid off. I mean, it's one of those situations. It's a really sad story. And he's a disabled vet, and I have a heart for disabled veterans. So.
Andrew, there are many ways to back up.
Yeah, but he's saying something affordable. I mean, with all the space that he has, or with all the files that he has, I don't know where he could back them up.
Locally.
Has to be locally.
Locally is, I mean, it's fine to have it out there, but if you want to have backups that you can control, you back them up locally, more than one backup. I mean, come on, how much is a 2 terabyte external drive these days?
Well, that's when 2 terabyte wouldn't last him a week.
It doesn't matter. You do that and you file it. You do that and you file it, and you make more than one.
What he needs to do, wait, oh boy, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? Here, I just figured it out.
Okay.
We always advocate that you have an off-site storage for your data.
Right.
What Andrew needs to do is go buy a few 4 terabyte drives, and every week he needs to store everything he has on those drives. Work out a deal down at Press where he can store those drives down there. Now he can write off as a business expense his trips to Press to swap drives.
Hey, Andrew, it'll cost a little more.
Not really.
Yes, it will, because
he's already down there anyway. At least he can write it off.
Andrew, why do you keep your raw copy? What is the benefit of the raw copy?
He's ADHD about that.
yeah, there's no reason. I mean, I only keep the FLV, not even an MP4.
Well, but you're not doing HD either.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just how many of these are out there online and how many people are watching it? You keep it for, what is that, austerity? Is that the right word?
Yep.
Posterity.
Posterity. It's not that something that I mean, if God forbid, if Andrew today lost all of his video, it's not the end of the world. I mean, what he does. Yeah. What?
I said every single show is online. Yeah.
The thing is, you still have something, and you can store a lot more. And he depends more on the audio stuff, right?
No,
he doesn't. Posterity, yeah. It's just there are ways to do it locally. It's going to take some time, and if it's right there where you are, it wouldn't take some time, because again, you can use automated techniques, the old batch files, to just go and back up the new stuff, and it does it in the background when you're not doing anything. The only thing is you have to keep on feeding it new drives because you fill them up so fast. Why aren't you calling in, Andrew?
He's working.
So I'm messaging this guy to see if he might perchance be at the McDonald's online, encouraging him to join us on the show and maybe call in and explain his situation. So,
Steve Gist dropped out.
He must be having a problem.
But here is Andrew.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm shy.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't like my idea about writing off your trips to press?
I do write off my trips to press. I do that already. I put it all on the business card.
All right.
It's always a
Now you
write
can
off.
write off the mileage.
Yeah.
But
was
you
there-
can.
Wait, don't you walk?
No, of course I don't walk.
Oh.
You can
I
get
do walk. I do walk. I was going to make a joke, but I thought it was inappropriate. So
your hardware. You're using top of the line hardware. You're doing top of the line shows, and you can get top of the line like a NAS chassis that you can put a bunch of discs in it.
yeah. Okay, so this is my scenario right now. I built a computer here with 6 hard drives in it,
Okay.
and they're 2 terabyte drives
Okay.
each. So I have 12 terabytes
Right.
in this machine.
Mm-hmm.
When I run out of space,
Yeah.
I have to take that hard drive out.
So
Take one out and put a new one in.
yeah.
I still want to be able to access those hard drives. So I kind of want, I guess I would need like some sort of large array system where I could have, 12 or 20 of those hard drives plugged in, and I could access all of them.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Or you can take it out and connect it via USB to that same machine.
Because I'm afraid that if I take it out and I let it sit, it's, that hard drive is going to start seizing
Nah,
after a while.
not anymore.
I mean, I remember the old ones were like
Yeah,
that.
the old ones used to, the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, this is, nah.
So what kind of solution could I have where I could have, every hard drive, maybe 12 hard drives connected?
How, when did you put the 6 drives in there?
I put it in last year, and I maxed out on 2 of them already.
So you have 4 left.
I have 4 left.
Okay. Now, if you take out the 2s and put 4s instead,
I guess I could keep going bigger and bigger, right?
that's what you're going to have to do. I mean, you're going to have more more and more data, so you're going to have to go bigger and bigger. But you can do it very easily. I mean, here you are, a year. It used 2 drives. You have 6 drives. You're worried. What are you worried about? When you maxed 5,
Well, but here's the thing, and my system is a little flawed. I don't have 2013 on there. It's all 2012.
where's 2013?
2013 is on my I have a hard drive in the switching machine where I record.
Okay, so it's on a different.
So I haven't transferred the files yet, and I have about almost a terabyte in that.
And that's the only copy?
That's the only copy.
Yeah, well, shame on you. That's bad.
Yeah, it is bad.
Yeah, so you need to copy to the other machine.
Yeah.
Not move, copy.
Yeah.
Because the older shows, to be honest, I mean, there's no use for them.
No, I mean, in reality, there's no use, and I could delete 2009, 2010.
I wouldn't delete. I wouldn't delete. I mean, it's cheaper to buy a new drive and take that drive and put it on a shelf.
Yeah.
Just in case you wanted to go back to something. But
So you don't think? I mean, I could do that. That's not a problem, and I could just pop it in when I need the file. I could just label
Exactly.
it 2009. But you don't think the hard drive will seize after 2-3 years?
no. I mean, did anybody here, Mike, did you ever have a drive to seize just because it was on the shelf? I've got
I
drives
actually have, I think.
I've
What?
had that happen to me in the past. I mean, this is IDE days. I mean, I'm not talking about the newer
Well,
hard drives.
they
But
all have lubrication in them, and that lubrication can seize up. That's why you will see some people at some point say that you have to actually take the drive and slam it on the desk to break the grease
Yeah, you
loose.
could.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's a very, very delicate process because you have to hit it hard enough to loosen it. If you hit it too hard, you destroy it.
Actually, the new way of doing it is to grab the. Are you watching, Andrew?
I am.
Is to grab the drive in your hand, like so, and if it doesn't start, to go and just like spin it hard,
And to kind of get it going.
and it will start. Yeah.
Now, my question also now is, for the future of SSD drives, how good are SSDs to put on the
Well,
shelf?
I mean, but you don't have SSD that size.
No. I'm just saying the evolution of it, because eventually, in the next 5 years, probably I'm going to move over to SSDs.
You go with whatever is out there. Right now, it's spinning drives.
Somebody just released an 8 terabyte tape.
Maybe I should go to tape.
And there's nothing wrong with tape either. All big companies, when they back up, they go to tape. They don't use drives or...
I've been told that whenever you put drives on the shelf, that once a year or every 6 months, you should take those drives off the shelf, power them up, let them run a little bit, put them back, and then you get another 6 months to a year before they're even likely to seize up. I actually do that.
I have not heard about drives seizing. I mean, I've got drives that now are on the shelf from the early days of Delta Force, and that's like going, what? Years and years.
When is the last time you powered them up?
Every now and then I'll take it out because I want to get a file, and I never saw
every
one.
now and then. Define every now and then.
You know, maybe every 6-7 months, every year.
Yeah,
And really, what I mean, and look, it's about 9 drives there on the shelf, on a special
Only 9?
shelf.
I've got 90
9 drives.
You have 90 drives?
at least.
It makes no difference. You take them out, and I recycle them. I mean, here's somebody needs an 80 gig drive, and I don't have one. I said, oh, I probably have one over there. Never saw a drive that I knew I shelved to use it later on that was seized. If it's seized, it seizes when you stop the machine for a day or so and then start again. I mean, I remember the days of the DLL drives. No, not DLL, RLL. The 20 megabytes and the 30 megabytes and the 70 megabytes. Those were seizing, and you would open them, and there will be a sun on the disk from the lubricant that came out of the spindle and spread all over the disk. And if the head happened to park itself on a place that there was oil, that's it. But that's what it is. It's such low torque when it starts that even any little bit of anything between the head and the disc itself, it holds it. So giving it a spin will do it. And I had some customers that came and they're using the computer, and they turned it off in the evening, came back the next day, and the computer will not work. They'll bring it over, and it doesn't work. I'll take it out, put it on my ear. It just go click, click, trying to. You grab it, and you give it a jolt like that, and they start. And at that point, you just copy it over, and you start with a new drive, because you know that drive sticks. But just from sitting, and especially when you don't, how long does it take you to fill up a 2 terabytes?
We go, I mean...
Roughly, a year?
2 terabytes? Well, each show is about, after editing, it's about a gig. So that's about 15 gigs a week, plus the raw copy that we're storing for about 6 months. The raw copy is about 10 gigs a show.
Okay.
So that's 150 gigs a week. We're going through 150, so let's say almost 200 gigs a week.
Okay. So it's just a few months.
Yeah.
That's a brand new drive. What's sticking? That drive would have been sitting on the shelf for another 3 years if nobody bought it. That's a brand new drive. You expect it to seize? Come on.
Andrew, why do you keep raw backups for 6 months?
There are times that we go back to stuff that was said, and then we'll go and we'll make a clip out of it, and we'll use that. We'll use the raw. Or there's stuff before the show and stuff after the show that was said, and then I need to go look at it as a reference point.
Okay. I'm just wondering why 6 months? That seems like a lot of time to keep raw backups if you've already got the compressed version.
Well, I'll give you an example. Spencer likes his raw copy. He wants me to keep all of his raw copies. So I have every Bald Truth raw copy from 2010 on. That show is about 12 gigs. A raw show.
Well, I mean, it's fine to do it. If he wants to keep it, that's fine. It's just more drives.
So I have another hard drive question, and I'll leave. And I've wondered if I could have done anything to fix this issue that I had. A couple years ago, I lost everything because I had a RAID, and the RAID collapsed, and the hard drives showed nothing on it. If one hard drive and the reason why that happened is because I had a problem with the onboard, I guess, controller, and one of the hard drives went bad. So what do you do if that happens? Is there any way to get the data back?
Yes.
Depending on which RAID you're running.
On a RAID 0.
Well, the purpose of if it's the controller that has failed, and I'm speaking at the server level and not totally proficient with what I'm talking about. A couple of people in chat know a lot more about it than I do, but I will tell you that a friend of mine was actually doing some work for a law firm. They had a RAID array. They lost the entire stack. They lost the controller. They lost the motherboards and the computers operating the RAID array. They were absolutely in a panic over losing their data. It turns out that there was a process for recovering the array that a guy from Microsoft actually stayed on the phone with them for 4 hours, used a tool that was at that time not publicly released to get the array back. Now, what I'm saying is that's not an ideal solution, but there are ways of getting it back, but it's pretty tough.
How about if one of the hard drives fails?
Well, that's the purpose of RAID, though. If one fails, you're supposed to be able to rebuild the array by putting a new hard drive in there.
That's why they're hot swappable.
On a RAID 0?
On anything.
That's
really?
What I'm
so
thinking.
if one fails, you just put a new one and it works?
It
builds it up, yeah.
Really?
Isn't RAID 0 the same thing on both drives?
No, RAID 0 is combining into one.
Striping.
You sure?
Yes.
Somebody who's doing this needs to tell us. I get confused over which one is which.
RAID 0 stripes the drive, so if the computer sees it as one mega drive.
It will rebuild because you always have room where it's got the stuff. Let's see if somebody else. Who do we have online?
Hi, it's Eileen.
Hello, Eileen.
Eileen.
Hi, I just wanted to call in and say hi to you guys. This conversation is way over my head, but I'm learning.
No, Amnon, I don't know that you know Eileen. This is Ms. Eileen Speaks. She is a blogger extraordinaire. She is in the podcasting community. She is a social media guru. She sets a lot of the trends and paces out there. She and I have been in contact with each other for quite some time now, and we started talking recently about her having not such good luck with the ATR 2100.
Oh, no.
So I told her to call in because, obviously we'd like to have her listening to the show and participating, but we'll talk a little bit about it. Tell us a little bit about what's going on, Eileen.
Okay, well, right now I'm actually on the Samsung CO3U, and that's usually what I use. And I went and got the Audio Technica 2100, thinking, okay, this will be a better solution for me. But the volume levels were always so low. I never could get it to, a listenable volume level.
Was that on USB?
So I just left it alone. And then, with all the communities, the podcasting communities that I'm in, I'm seeing that every time someone recommends this mic, mind you guys, I'm on PC, but every time someone recommends this mic, there's always one or two outliers, like myself, who say the same thing, can't get the volume levels up. So I'm like, okay, is there something unique to our setup? Or has anyone ever reached out to Audio Technica? or do they ever, try to resolve this issue? I kind of gave up because, like I said, I have the Samsung, so.
Yeah, we don't think there's an issue.
Hey, if you want to, I can raise your volume here.
No, she's not on that mic.
Now,
I'm not on, and actually Mike and I will probably hook up on Skype to try to resolve it, offline. I don't want to, interject into you guys' show with
No,
that.
that's what we do here.
Because it's not critical for me.
Did you determine that the problem...
Wait a second,
Sorry.
Spence. Go ahead, Spence.
I was going to say,
sorry.
did you determine that the problem goes with the microphone and not with the platform you're using it on?
Well, I've used like 2 or 3 other mics on this PC without the problem.
Now, is
what
that
I meant
USB
was, have you
that-
used that microphone that doesn't work properly? Did you try it on another PC and get the same
Yes, I
results?
did. I tried it on my
You did?
other laptop. Yes, and same problem. So I think
that tells
the
me that
idea
there's
was
a hardware issue with that particular microphone.
Possibly.
All right, Nick, what did you say?
are you using the mic via USB or XLR?
USB. I don't
Yeah.
have a mixer. See, this is why I need a USB mic.
I had the similar issue. I have the same issue with the 2100. It's very low on USB, and I've experienced that. Mine is. But I understand what she's saying. I've had to record things via USB, and after the fact, to go into Audacity or whatever and bump up the audio as much as possible to make it listenable.
Can I offer a possible thought or idea?
Sure.
When you're plugging this ATR 2100 into USB, are you plugging it into a USB 3.0 port or a USB 2.0 port?
To be honest, I'm not sure.
Okay, because
So
this is only my experience over the weekend, but when I plugged in 2 devices. One was a Behringer 302 USB, and the other was a Logitech wireless USB dongle, and into my Chromebook. And when I plugged them into the 3.0 USB port, I had this problem that you're describing. When I plugged it into the 2.0 port, it went away. So maybe something to try.
Interesting. Well, what I have is an HP G72 262 notebook.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that for about 3 years now. And also the other is the Dell Latitude, I believe it is. That's my work laptop. So that's the other one that I tried it on. So I'm not really sure if they have USB 3. Probably they have the 3.0.
The newer one, the Latitude might, but it sounds like a 3-year-old would not have a 3.0 port on it.
Yeah, maximum it would have maybe one 3.0 port.
I'm sorry, the Latitude is only about a year old.
Right.
It's the HP that's about 3 years old.
Right. And I'm just sharing my experience from this weekend. I have no idea if there's an issue there. More technical people might speak to that, whether it's even possible. But I'm just telling what my experience was, and so.
Well, I noticed when I listened to Mike's interview with Andrew that he talked about, in the I believe it's IAB community.
IAIB.
I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. That there are some manufacturers that are a lot more responsive, and they outreach more with podcasters and the internet broadcasting community. And so I was trying to read between the lines there that perhaps Audio Technica was not
at all.
one of those.
Audio Technica is not one of those.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's the problem. So there's no point in me hunting around for thousands of different solutions. I'll probably get together with Mike later because he said that
what we'll do here,
Eileen,
Eileen, if you like, is that maybe this afternoon or when you have some time, it'd be on the weekend, you and I will connect. If you will allow me to connect through your computer with TeamViewer, let me check a few settings on your computer, determine if you really do have a level problem. If you do, you could have a problem with your microphone. If you have a problem with your microphone, you can send it to me and I'll verify it against one of mine. And like I've said to anyone who's purchased one, if you don't want it, we'll buy it from you because we use them all over. Bruce is using one. Spencer's using the the AT2005, which is the same microphone. Nick is using one, and in fact, at the moment, I'm talking to you on one. So they work.
Yeah, yes, I know. I mean, I've seen them from most of those podcasters who podcast about podcasting. I've seen them all, try them, and it's just like, okay. And I also picked up the AT2020.
That's condenser
mic. Which is
mic.
just strictly USB, and that one was fine.
Yeah, it's a good mic, but it's a condenser mic as long as you don't have a lot of background noise.
I try to keep it to a minimum. Like right now I hear my laptop humming a little, but it doesn't always hum. Sometimes
how are you connected with us? Are you connected on the phone or through Skype?
Phone.
I am using Google Voice.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Mike,
okay.
Yes.
Do you see what Steve is saying in the chat?
Which part about he gets exactly the same problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got some configuration issue on his computer because he will connect with his volume set extremely low, and then he's blowing us out of the water with the level. So I think that's a different issue. And some people have complained about the issue she's having, and I'm not an Audio-Technica apologist. I mean, I don't care. I'm looking at the level now and looking at this one that I'm using. In terms of comparing it with other microphones where you're able to really crank a lot of signal, the level is lower, but it's not low to the point of being unusable. Remember that microphones are designed for a lot of applications. If you're singing into a microphone, the level that it's picking up goes up dramatically. If they make it have too much level, then it will actually distort the microphone preamp. The level, the natural level may be lower than other microphones for the USB port, but not to the point of being unusable. I usually find that there's a setting or two wrong in Windows 7.
Okay, yeah, that could be the problem. But anyway, thanks so much, and I'm going to definitely hook up with you, Mike, and we'll get this mic straight, or I'll get it over to you somehow. And I posted also over in the Google Plus community that I just purchased the Nessie from Blue.
Yep.
And I'll get that in next week, and we'll see how that works.
Very good. Appreciate you calling in. Keep listening and calling.
I sure will. Thanks so much, guys.
Take care, Eileen.
All right.
Do we have specials?
Yes, we do.
Awesome.
You're going to have to pay for them today, though. It's not free anymore.
Ooh, that's not good.
I have to start charging. Are we ready? You want to do it now?
Absolutely.
All right. So last week, who was suggested that we change the background for specials? No, I guess it doesn't really matter. Go to the newsroom. All right. Interestingly today, the only paper ad I got was Tiger Direct. No other ads. Did you look at your morning paper today, Mike?
He didn't.
Oh, okay. He's gone.
He woke up late.
All right. So starting with Tiger Direct, we have a 16 gig Asus 7-inch memo pad tablet. Android 4.2. It's got a quad processor on it for $149. They've got a Lenovo 15.6-inch Asus A6 laptop. That's a quad core for $399. They've got a Seagate 1 terabyte USB 3.0 backup plus portable hard drive for $69.99. That's $20 off. They have a Toshiba 2 terabyte 3.5-inch internal drive, $69.99. That's after a mail-in rebate. And this is that drive I was talking about earlier. It's the Seagate 4 terabyte NAS hard drive. It's 5,900 RPM, slow RPM, so I guess that's to save on energy and heat. $189.99. They've got a Kingston 240 gig SSD for $179.99. They've got Kingston USB flash drives on sale, 8 gig for $599, 16 gig for $999, 32 gig for $18.99. They've got PNY Class 10 SD cards, useful if you do photography. If you record video, 16 gig for $14.99, 32 gig for $27.99, 64 gig for $44.99. They've got Centon brand USB 3.0 flash drives, 32 gig for $19.99, 64 gig for $39.99, 128 gig is $69.99. And that could USB 3.0 could make a big difference if you're saving that much data, much faster than USB 2.0. They've got 21.5 inch, LCD monitor for $99. They have a 23-inch LED for $109.99. They've got a raw LG Blu-ray burner. This is standard form factor for a desktop computer for $109.99. We've got a 625 VA CyberPower UPS for $39.99. They've got an APC UPS, that's a 1300 VA for $149.99. They've got a good deal on a Brother MFC J280W wireless inkjet printer. This is a printer, scanner, fax, copier, 4-function for $69.99. They've got the Epson Expression 600 small-in-one printer, scanner, fax, copier. This supports two-sided printing, duplex printing, for $99.99. And they've got the QC 4-camera 500 gig security system, 500 gig DVR for $199, and you can add 4 more cameras. It's an 8-channel DVR, and that's all at Tiger Direct. At Best Buy, they've got an Asus 15.6-inch i3 laptop for $349, an HP 17.3-inch Asus A8 processor laptop for $399.99. They've got an Acer 20-inch LED monitor for $89.99. That's 40 off. They've got an AOC 21.5-inch LED monitor for $119.99. That's 50 off. They've got a Dell 21.5-inch IPS LED monitor for $129.99. That's 70 off. They've got the Logitech K400 touchpad wireless keyboard for $24.99. Save 15 on that. They've got a SanDisk Cruiser Fit. Now, these are the micro-sized USB flash drives that you can plug into your USB port on your laptop and leave them in place. They don't interfere, won't hit anything. Kind of like the little wireless transceivers you get for wireless mouse. They've got this for $24.99, 15 off. I'm sorry. Back again, SanDisk, 8 gig for $9.99, 16 gig for $12.99. And this is the product I wanted to discuss for a moment. This is the Netgear Universal Range Extender with 4-port switch. So this is a little bit different spin on what this product was before. This was a universal Wi-Fi extender for 2.4 gigahertz wireless. That includes B, G, and N, and could be used in your home to extend. It would intercept and extend, reamplify wireless signals. But what this does is it actually has a 4-port switch in it. So if you wanted to use it to connect Ethernet devices over wireless at another point in your house, it's very useful. It does both functions. Not only is it a wireless extender, but it's also a wireless converter. So handy little device, sells for $59.99. They've got 1 year of Office 365 for 5 users. That's on a Mac or a PC for $79.99 with the purchase of a PC. Got an HP LaserJet Pro wireless mono laser printer for $99.99. That's $60 off. A Brother Business MFC J4510 wireless printer, scanner, fax, copier with duplex printing, two-sided. And what gets me about this is the speed. It's 35 pages per minute black and white, 27 pages per minute for color, and it goes for $149.99. That's at Best Buy. Going to Staples, they've got a Toshiba 15.6-inch AMD E1 laptop for $279.90. This is a clearance item. Save $120. They have a 15.6-inch HP AMD A6 laptop for $369. Save $100. They've got a 16 gig Nexus 7 tablet for $229. They've got PNY Attaché USB flash drive, 16 gig for $999. Save $10. 32 gig for $19.99, save $20. They've got the Acer Iconia 8.1-inch Windows 8 tablet for $279. I mentioned this earlier, how the prices are dropping. This is another clearance item. That's $100 off the standard price. 16-gig Samsung Galaxy Note 8-inch tablet for $359.99. That's $40 off. Seagate network drive with backup for both Mac, PC, and smartphones. 2 terabytes for $149, 3 terabytes for $179. They've got the Logitech MK320 wireless keyboard and mouse. This is a slightly smaller form factor than the standard one. $29, save $10. You got the Brother MFC J470 DW wireless printer. This is an excellent value. It's a printer scanner fax copier with two-sided printing for $59, save $40. They've also got the Brother HL2270 DW. This is a wireless mono laser printer with duplex two-sided printing for $99.99, save $50. That is at Staples. At Office Max, they've got a 100-pack of verbatim DVD media for $21.99, save $23. They've got an HP 20-inch LED monitor for $89.99. A 7-inch Samsung Galaxy Tab 3. This is the 8-gig version for $199.99. They've got a Lenovo AMD E2 processor. This is a desktop computer, no monitor, 8-gig with 1 terabyte drive for $269.99, save $50. We've got an 11.6-inch HP AMD A4 touchscreen laptop for $379.99, save $100. They have an 11.6-inch Samsung Chromebook, 2 gig of memory with a 16 gig solid-state drive for $249.99. That seems to be a pretty standard price for that device. That's all at Office Max. And finally, Office Depot. They've got a really inexpensive 7-inch, 4 gig Android tablet. This is made by Apex, an off-brand, $59.99. That's $40 off. Use it and throw it away. Laptops from $269.99. They've got the HP LaserJet Pro printer for $99, save $60. They have an HP OfficeJet printer scanner fax copier for $99.99, save $30. They have a Brother Mono Laser printer scanner fax copier with wired networking. Now, take into account that if you don't have a connection for it, you need to use just the USB connection. But it does support wired Ethernet. I just the one I actually have an older version of this printer in my office. $149.99, save $50. 15.6-inch Lenovo i3 laptop for $349, save $130. We've got 11.6-inch HP AMD A4 touchscreen laptop for $349.99. That's $100 off. And finally, a 1 terabyte Seagate USB 3.0 portable hard drive for $79.99, save $10. And that's at Office Depot. And that is it.
You're going back to natural color, or are you going to stay in gray?
No, I'll go back to natural color. I was going to... Well, actually, I can make myself all purple, if you like.
Thank you very much, senor.
No problem.
As Steve would say, awesome.
And I'm here in the warehouse waiting for you to order. As you can see, we're fully stocked right to the ceiling.
All
Everything
the way
is
to
in
the
stock.
ceiling. Everything
I only
is
charge a 10% sourcing fee for everything you order through me.
Is everything in cans or in boxes? Everything is in cans.
It's in cans.
Yeah, okay.
It stays. The shelf life is longer if it's in cans.
Too bad. Andrew is not here, so you could. I mean, no drives will stick if they're in cans. Sorry,
right.
Go ahead.
That's correct.
We were talking about this pre-show just a little bit, and you mentioned about maybe Emma mentioned about talking about it on the show. Your the Chroma Keying and what you're doing. I mentioned that I was going to sometime this week get some material to cover my backdrop here. Go to Lowe's, pick up a couple shop lights, and you were talking about the kind of CFL bulbs that you use and the lighting, everything. And man, XSplit's really doing a great job when it comes to its Chroma Keying.
Yes, and it's gotten easier as they've released new versions. And they were in the beginning. There were several sliders that you had to adjust with different that adjusted the color for chroma. But now they have a pretty simple one-click. You select the color background, and then you can tweak it around the edges, fine-tune it. So just to give you an example of what, let's go to settings. I can probably show you. I don't know if I can capture this because as soon as I go to, it's not going to be possible.
Right.
But to show the actual settings. But I can show you that it really now, if you select chroma, the background key, color key that you use to key off of, in which case it's blue, is really only two adjustments to the color. You can fine-tune some other parts of the actual color from the camera, but very easy to set it up, and it's gotten better over time. I've found that using the natural light versions of the CFL bulbs, the 5,000 to 5,300 Kelvin daylight bulbs, gives me the best results. It'll work with any lighting. It's just how crisp you want the edges to be on the chroma key. Well, the bulb helps a lot, and I use indirect lighting. I don't know if I can actually show it the way I have it set up. Maybe I can
You're
switch.
using two of those bulbs right now?
I have three. I have three set up, and let me see if let me switch to the overhead camera, and I'll just pick it up. Oh, switching to that camera, XSplit has encountered a problem. I can't shut it down. I can't. If I click out of this box, I'll go away. But let me just show you.
Okay.
All right, so take a look up here. You'll see I've got three CFLs. The color's a little oversaturated there, but I've got them actually pointing at the ceiling and at a white shelf, so I'm not directly in the light.
Okay.
And that seems to help a lot to use indirect lighting. It helps so you don't get hot spots on your face.
Right.
Which is another problem with direct lighting. So
you're bouncing it off a white ceiling.
Bouncing it off the white ceiling and the bottom of a white shelf.
Right.
That works well.
Interesting.
I think if I switch now to... well, actually, I'm going to restart XSplit because the last time this happened, Skype recovered okay. So...
Hey, Nick.
Hello.
Something since they're talking about chroma keying and all that, I heard somebody in the Hangout yesterday saying that Wirecast doesn't do chroma key very good. What?
It's not that it doesn't do chroma key good. It's just a pain to set up. Sometimes the little eyedropper tool doesn't work right.
Oh.
And you have to manually move the sliders.
Well, when I do it with VidBlaster, you can auto key and it's fine, but then you have to use the advanced settings, which is a bunch of sliders, and to get it tuned in just right.
Well, a few things are, bad chroma key is bad. If you have good chroma key, it can be fine. But I rather suspect that a lot of the people who are doing, more professional shows have, studio setups that they've put together that they like, such as what Andrew does and such as what you do, Nick. So chroma key is really, not necessary for them.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, I was on Andrew's show, IAIB Spotlight.
Put the link.
I'm trying to remember what day it was. Friday.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting experience. The show was primarily to discuss things audio as it relates to internet broadcasting and podcasting. And we had a bunch of audio problems. But we left them in because it's instructive on what kind of garbage you can run into and how you solve those problems. One of them was fighting a Skype issue, which ultimately I've resolved But let's see if I got too much going on. There it is. Andrew posted it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an interesting show. I mean, Andrew's an extraordinary interview. I don't care how he appears on this show.
He's okay. He's all right.
Yeah, he and it's really funny because I'll tell our crowd here because we have a great crowd here. Andrew and I did not prepare for this show at all. Andrew normally prepares extensively for his shows, and I mean he's got more content than he can cover in a show. But we did not prepare at all for the show. We wanted it to be quite candid. Now he may have prepared, but I wanted him to take the show in the direction that he wanted to take it instead of me talking about what I talk about over and over and over and over again. I think it went really well. I thought it was I hope there's some useful information there.
Mm-hmm.
It was all right.
Mediocre at best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, don't talk about Andrew that way because he's a friend of mine.
Now, looking at that link that he posted, your background looks, fairly black, and I like that kind of look for some kind of shows. Is that what you do quite often when you're doing a video interview?
No, that's what happens when you don't know how to adjust your video because you're an audio guy.
Okay.
Dudunch.
I'm not kidding.
Ba-dum-bum.
I actually see right now there is a setting on the webcams that whenever it goes into HD, it gets either darker or lighter, and when it's in SD, it's the opposite. I have to move the slider back and forth on the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get it backwards.
Mm.
If Andrew doesn't say, oh, you need to brighten that up or you need to tone that down, I just leave it. I'm an audio guy.
Yeah, it's fine. You just need practice.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. Guess Spence had to completely reboot.
Well, you know what? If I want Nick to demonstrate this little program that he just told us about, and he needs to be on video to do that. And I don't know whether Spence or Bruce is leaving early, or I can log out and let Nick call in because I would really like for him to demonstrate this little utility, which I'm blown away by.
You want me to produce a video? I don't know how I can demo it.
You can't do a screen share?
It's going to be too small. I mean, I'm trying to think the best way for me to demo it. You want me to do it? Amnon, do you have the availability to play videos?
Yeah. The WMV.
Okay, so I'll make a video without audio over it, and I guess we could dub it next week.
Okay,
that's fine. I'm just not sure I'm not sure the best way to demo it live.
Okay. Make sure that when you do the screen cap that is very large since we're not in HD.
Yeah.
Now, what program are you talking about?
It's a secret.
Okay.
I'll put it in the... Bruce, you're in the Hangout, right? The Hangout chat?
Correct.
How do you pronounce it, Nick?
Guyzo.
Gyazo, GYAZO.com.
Yeah, Guyzo.com if anybody wants to play around with it.
Anybody who's doing what we're doing and not using it is missing.
There's other ones too. There's one. It's called speedcap.net. There's a bunch of them, but I like Guyzo. Preferably, I prefer Guyzo.
Thank you.
Did you say? Did I hear somebody say Speed Racer?
Go Speed Racer.
Why is Eric Andrews asking, did he say WMV?
I don't know.
Weapons of mass video?
Okay.
Did we ever end up talking about the iPhone?
You did. Did you want
We
to
did
talk
a little.
more? Go for it. Go more. I mean, I've got an article about it, but
No, I had nothing to talk about it. I didn't remember if we summed everything up.
yeah, you talked about it, and Mike said that he may buy one, and
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Wonder what happened to Spence. Well, maybe I'll just fix it and then fix it again when he comes in. There's a story here. Wait a sec. Let me just do this real quick here. All right. Some of the travel recommendations posted on the Transportation Security Administration blog seem stupefying obvious. This week's entitled Leave Your Grenades at Home seems like a no-brainer, but alas, the TSA wrote about grenades in particular. Year to date, the agency officers have discovered 43 grenades in carry-on baggage and 40 grenades in checked baggage. Can you imagine somebody just going with a grenade to fly?
Was he flying to Grenada?
That's amazing. I mean, what do people think? Now, did they arrest these people, or they just told them to put it in that bag, in that big bin there with all the knives and the box cutters? What do you think? Do they still do that? Nobody answers. Oh, I didn't know I was potted up.
What?
Nobody's answering. Nobody's saying anything.
My wife says if I'm really bored, we can talk about how easy it is to put up a chandelier.
I asked the question, when you fly today, do they still make you put illegal things in a little bin?
I don't fly, so.
There's no sense in putting illegal things in the bin. They're going to confiscate it right
No,
away.
no, I know. No, not in the bin that goes through in a big thing where you can't take it with you.
Of course. I mean, when you're getting ready to get on the airplane, if you have something that you can't take with you, you have to throw it away.
Right. But they used to have like a big thing where they put like all the scissors and everything.
Nah.
Then they will take it out and sell it. And
No, I think they now have a bag under the counter where they take it home.
Oh.
Okay. Supposedly now some people can go through TSA without taking your shoes off. They're relaxing some of the standards. I know you can take a little small pair of what do they call those? The needle point scissors. They're little small things that you can take now.
Well, get your feet good and stinky before you leave, and that'll teach them a lesson.
Yeah, I actually ran into a TSA agent with a personality. I had to stop and talk to the guy. I said, I've never met one of you guys who had a personality before. I didn't say it quite like that. I didn't want to go to jail, but I did. It was joking with him.
Because I fly the same route every month, I'm getting to know the PSA or TSA people, especially in Lynchburg and in Melbourne, the smaller airports. Charlotte's still big enough where I don't have to go through TSA there, but I am getting to know some of the gate agents, in Charlotte.
Does
but
that
primarily,
help?
Yeah, I mean, and there are some of them, like Mike says, that do have personality, and you joke with them, and so
Not about bombs, however.
no, I tell them, I appreciate you keeping the light on for me and everything, and sometimes when I step in the machine, put my hands above my head, I'll do a little dance for them,
They had, when I was leaving, actually a guy in RDU. I for a long time I wouldn't go through these body scanners because some of them are X-ray. I did some research and found out which ones are, which ones are not. And the one that they have at RDU is not X-ray. It's medium wave. It's not, at this point, as far as anyone knows, it's not injurious to your health as X-rays are, like these full body scanners where you tell everything you got. Those are X-ray. They're dangerous, but my understanding is that they're being removed from all airports nationwide. They are not supposedly in use now. By the way, you might want to check your congressional representatives and see which ones of those people are invested in that company that's making them, by the way. That being said, when I went through this one, I had taken everything out of my pockets, had taken my belt off and everything, but I left my folded cash in my pocket. Didn't think anything about it. I mean, it's paper. The machine can see right through paper. And so when I walked through this TSA agent, he's kind of a younger guy, probably 30, 35, looked at me with this real stern look. What do you have in your pocket? And I reached in my pocket. I'd forgotten about it. I reached in my pocket and pulled out my cash, and he stuck his hand out, and I went to put it in his hand like he was going to look through it and see if there was anything in it, and he just held his hand there and didn't grab it. So I didn't know what he was doing. Then he kind of smiled, and I just stuck it in my pocket and kept going. It's like he was going to take the money.
That was a real laugher there, Mike, right? You were laughing?
Yeah, real drama.
Yeah, if a camera caught that, you could have been arrested for trying to bribe him.
Yeah, no, he stuck his hand out first. That was entrapment.
Oh, okay.
But there's nothing wrong. You know what? If these guys hate their jobs, go do something else.
Mac or something.
Now, if you have two laptops, do you have to put them in separate bins, or can you?
Actually, the answer is yes. Although going out, I put both of them, one of them a Mac, in a single bin, and no one said anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think as long as they can see the two, because even though they go through the X-ray machine, I'm not convinced that they're looking for anything inside a computer.
Do you remember when they used to have to turn them on?
Oh yeah,
they would. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what happened, Spence?
Well, very interesting. As soon as XSplit crashed when I switched to that other camera.
Right.
And then I tried to stop XSplit and restart, and it crashed Skype. And then I could not start XSplit or Skype again without restarting the machine. And after I restarted the machine, it said, you have an error with this unrecognized USB device, which means I had to reseat my USB KVM switch.
Did you restart or you shut down? Or did you shut down?
No, I shut it down. I shut it down and started over.
Okay.
So something, and that was after I restarted the machine, I got the USB error. So something, gremlins struck.
Yeah. Yeah, yesterday night when I swapped the machines over there, the one for the reruns, after Nick fixed it, I wanted to find the information about Justin TV. And I said, oh, yeah, I've got the file on that machine there. So I put it on the shelf, on the bench, and it won't come on. It just won't come on. So got another power supply, stuck it in there temporarily, and it did come on, so I replaced the power supply. It was working when I pulled it off, like just about an hour or two earlier. And she was gone. Bye-bye. Nick, you know what I did? Spence, are you okay?
Yeah, that was before I put the fire out.
Okay. And Nick?
Can't touch this.
Hello, Amnon.
Hello.
How you doing?
So this morning, I realized when I was sitting here and starting, I said, oh, so now I can't really stream to Justin.
Why not?
Because it's not set up for it.
Oh, yeah, it is. You could screen cap Bamboozer on that machine.
I'm not. Oh, well, okay. I didn't know how to do it.
Okay.
So I'm giving the other machine power supply. I just set it up on the bench and I'm doing it through it.
Yeah, I mean, that could have screen captured, and was just the way you'd screen capture VLC.
Okay, so all right, and I don't know if you heard that, with VidBlaster, FMLE, VLC, and Chrome open. All this time, it was using between 95 and 100%.
Wow.
Now with VLC and Wirecast open, doing the whole thing, that's right. Chrome is not open. It's 38%. But I don't know that opening Chrome is going to bring it up much. So it's interesting. It's very, very, very nice. Thanks again.
No problem.
She's working. All right. Unless you want to talk about chandeliers, I mean, I'm going to go to another story.
Well, before we get too far gone, I'm going to make one more shameless appeal to anyone who has not donated to go to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation website, particularly the one of a friend of mine who is raising money for her walk. And if you can't get but $5, that's $5. Don't mind doing it. I just posted the link in chat. It is an excellent cause, and people here have responded in ways that really humble me. I appreciate it. It's a great crowd. It has jumped over $200 just during this program, and I'm flattered. I appreciate it, and I've donated. I'm probably going to donate again, and if you got time and a few bucks, go do it. And in fact, one of the comments that's listed here, they list the donors. You can be anonymous if you want. You don't have to show the amount if you don't want to. That's fine. It doesn't matter. But one of the comments that was written by a person who donated, which I really like and respect, is, I'm waiting for it to pop up so I can get the wording exactly right. And it says, I believe, given in honor of my healthy kids. Well, let me tell you, if you don't have kids yet, you don't have grandkids yet, now's the time to be proactive, because you may face this issue. And spending a little bit right now. Hopefully not. Hopefully not, but everyone who has it never thought they were going to get it either. And so I would suggest that I've kind of been bruised over the last couple of months of some things that have happened in my family. Thankfully, things seem to be working out well, but I'm just saying that if you can go do it, it's not for me, it's for them, go do it. It's a worthwhile cause, and the money will be used for something that needs to be done. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. And nothing shameless about this.
Well, it's just hit me funny. I'm surprised how much this has struck me, because you don't know something till you know it, and I did not realize how close to improving the qualities of the lives of people with diabetes, how much, a lot of diseases out there, there's nothing you can do. You can donate, I said this earlier, you can donate to ALS. It's worthwhile. It's a useful cause. You're probably not going to see an immediate effect in the very near future, which is what immediate means. You're probably not going to see cause and effect. We are on the edge of improving the lives of people with diabetes. This money will have an effect not only in your lifetime, but probably in the immediate future. So that's why I'm passionate about it.
Yeah. A federal appeals court this week ruled that Google could be held liable for civil damages for the company's 2011 scandal involving the company's collection of Wi-Fi data from unsecured hotspots using their Street View vehicles. Remember that fiasco?
I don't remember all the details of that. What was the issue?
Their vehicles were snooping on unprotected, unpassworded Wi-Fi networks as they were driving through. So to come to that conclusion, the court followed a rather unique logic path. According to the court, unsecured Wi-Fi hotspots are not radio communications that are readily accessible to the general public, and therefore Google violated the Wiretap Act. So what do you say, Mike?
All right, from a legal perspective, I can understand the theory of recovery. I get that, but as I've said many, many times, the law is very slow to follow the technology. Google could lose this one. If they do, I predict that there will be legislation saying that if you leave your Wi-Fi unsecured, then that's your problem. Because you can, and I'll tell you why. Think about this for a second. You can have your phone set to automatically join an unsecured network without asking.
Right.
You can walk in, if that's true, and you said it that way, you could walk into one of these hotspots, your phone connects to it, and now you're a wiretapper.
Right.
That's wrong.
True.
Listen, if there's a signal out there, just think about radio. I don't automatically tune in to 105.9 here in Lynchburg. I mean, you can program it, to your point, on your buttons on your car radio. But a lot of times I'm scanning and I'm looking for a station when I'm traveling, and I intentionally pick that station. So if I'm scanning for an open Wi-Fi and I pick that station, what's the difference? How can they make the argument?
Not being a lawyer, I think I can explain better, is that the radio station is there for you to tune in. The Wi-Fi unprotected.
So is the open Wi-Fi.
No.
that's
Because
people being careless.
Right.
Well, I mean, granted, but to your point, I think I think if it's open, it's your problem.
No, that's what Mike is saying. That it is your problem,
agree.
but that's not what you intended to do. So anybody who tunes to it is wiretapping, because it's not made to be publicly accessible, like radio is.
I think that's going to be a losing argument ultimately, and I think Google, if they lose the lawsuit, they will drive the legislation. And I just don't think that an open Wi-Fi, I don't think you should be able to be a criminal by logging on to an open Wi-Fi. What if you pick the wrong one? I mean, some of these stupid names, what if you go into the coffee shop and it's OQGG public as opposed to OQ12 public? One of them you're a hacker, the other you're permitted to be on? That's nonsense.
Yeah. I know it's getting close to when we should sign off, but there's this story here that kind of surfaced again in a different way. InfoWorld Bill Snyder writes of Verizon's diabolical plan to charge websites for carrying their packets, a strategy that, if it wins out, will be the end of the Internet as we know it. Think of all the things that tick you off about cable TV. Along with brainless programming and crummy customer service, the very worst aspect of it is forced bundling. Now imagine that the Internet worked that way. You'd hate it, of course. But that's the direction that Verizon, with the support of many wired and wireless carriers, would like to push the web. That's not hypothetical. The country #1 carrier is fighting in court to end the Federal Communication Commission's policy of net neutrality, a move that would open the gates to a whole new and wholly bad economic model on the web. Many times we said that the way to stop spam is to start charging for email. But this is, again, net neutrality coming up with a way that people can relate to. Things are going to cost more. I mean, you go to a website, it's almost like pay-per-view. So what do you think about that?
Well, maybe we can get the government to provide it to us for free like they want to do everything else.
Yeah.
Free is good.
I mean, aren't the providers already charging us to carry, quote unquote, carry our packets?
Well, they sure as hell don't do anything for free.
No,
Right.
those packets are slipping right around them. They're not. They just became aware of them.
I mean, there are a bunch of websites, a bunch of web hosting companies. They charge you for traffic. What do you call that? Isn't that charging for packets? The more packets you have, the more you pay.
You tell us, Amnon.
I don't understand what's the big deal that the guy is making out of diabolical plan to change websites to charge for carrying their packets. It's very, very. I don't know anybody that can get away without paying for somebody to carry their packets. Of course, you're going to come. Of course, you're going to come back and say that you don't know anybody that can go to the doctor without somebody paying for that doctor's time. It may not be that person who pays for it, but somebody's paying for it. But really, I mean, other than being in Wi-Fi area, you pay for it. Actually, yeah, you pay for it. Yeah. What are you going to say?
That old
Spence?
disclaimer. In order for us to bring you better service, we're now going to break up our billing so that we bill you for individual items instead of in general.
Yep.
So just another way to squeeze more money out of you.
I noticed on my telephone bill they have new billing. It's a company that does the billing for AT&T, so it was cheaper at the time for a business line to get it through them. It was like about $12 cheaper. So instead of $53 or whatever, it was $40. Well, it's been years, and this time I noticed it got up to be 41 something and then 42 something, and this month it was 48 something. So I called. I said, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, they're charging us more." I have no idea what AT&T charges. So I said, "Okay, well, it's time. I really don't care about the Yellow Pages ad." So I started looking into voice over IP again, because I wanted to have a different. I mean, I have voice over IP on one phone, but I wanted something else in case something happened to one, then the other works. And Uzi told me about VoIPO, VoIPO.
That's the one I use.
Nice. Very nice. $6.21 a month.
I'm not going to tell you what I'm paying.
Probably less, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm an original member. I was there in the early days. I've talked with the guy who started it.
It's
Timothy
very
Dick.
It's very nice. They will take the business line number and port it. And as a matter of fact, they surprised me because once I got that ATA, I tried to call the number to call my number to see which number did they give me. And I'm seeing it's my number. Well, how can that be? So I called and he said, yeah, if you ask us to port something, then we'll already assign it. And I didn't send them the papers to port the number yet. But then Uzi has it also at home. And he called my main number. Guess what? It rang on their line. So apparently, if they see a number that you're calling from within their network, it will actually ring on their line that is there with that number attached to it. Because I said, who knows how to call me? Great, I've got a number that somebody else had, and now I'm going to get crank calls. But no, that's what it was. But it's very nice. You pay for 2 years in advance, yeah. But it's fine. I mean, it's...
You can also use Blink to make and receive calls on that number, Amnon.
All right, well, we will talk about this because this is interesting. And not only that, but you get 2 lines.
I only got one.
You get 2 lines with the same number. But what happens is, because they don't have forward on busy and forward on no answer.
Right.
So what happens is it rings on both lines, supposedly. And then if you're using one line, it always rings on the second one. So you can talk on both lines at the same time. Not at the same time. You can't conference between them, but hold and talk and hold and talk. So that's very interesting. If you're online and that's the only phone you have, you can put it on hold and go to the second line and make a call out. And then come back to the original one. So it's great. $6.21 a month. And they say it's for personal or small business. So nice. So $6.21 instead of $50. Could have had a V8.
Yep, I'm paying $50 a year.
Nice. Yeah.
I started out paying $99 and actually got to the point that I had decided I was not going to continue using it because I have Google Voice, I have Skype dial-out. I got the renewal notice and it said, what do they call it when you're a charter member? Maybe it was a charter thing. $50. I said, $50, I'll take it.
Yes, you can.
And now I only use it on the air, like when we do Rick's House on Saturday morning. When I call Alan, the news guy, Alan Williams, I'm calling him over VoIPO using Blink to do so.
So why are you using Blink to call over that? And okay, now maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe next Sunday. Maybe next.
Go ahead and ask.
Huh?
Why am I using Blink instead of Skype?
How? No, not instead of Skype. How do you use Blink with a voice over IP service that already has the dial tone and you dial through it and everything?
You just got to know what to type in, and I'll show you.
Type in where?
Into Blink.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about it.
It accesses it through the internet. It is a VoIP account.
Yeah.
That's accessible through a SIP client. It is a SIP client.
All right. Okay. We'll talk about it. I think this is interesting for everybody.
Yep.
Now, how does this compare with, obviously there's an adapter involved here. How does this compare with Magic Jack Plus and another company I tried?
I had Magic Jack, and I'm disappointed that the quality is not there. I could not use it for business. You pick up and it sounds great, and you call, and halfway through the call it starts dropping.
Right.
And I put it on Time Warner. I said, well, maybe this, and I put it on a T1. Same thing. It just, I don't know.
It's their infrastructure is just not able to handle it.
It's
for some
too
reason.
much. Yeah, I think
It's oversold.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually using the little device from AT&T, and I've been extremely happy with it. I'm kind of gun shy on trying some of these things, but your recommendation certainly carries a lot of weight. But I got tired of paying what I was paying for a Verizon landline, and I went to the little AT&T device that I just plug in, and it works off my AT&T, the cellular, and it's less than a third of the price of what I was paying with Verizon, and it's been rock solid.
What is it called?
I can't remember the name of the device, but it works off of AT&T's cell network. Okay. And it's just a little device you buy. It's got an antenna.
So you don't have
several.
Go ahead, Spence.
Several Verizon also offers the same thing. It's just a wireless anchor point,
right?
That provides.
So you don't need an internet connection.
No, it uses literally uses the cell phone network.
Right. And you just plug your regular phone into it, just like you would into this VoIPO adapter or whatever.
And if you think about it, if you've got it on a UPS, that you would have service even in a power outage because of the holding the device up, because the cell networks generally have battery backup and generators to kick in.
Yeah, and this device has battery backup built into it. It's supposed to be good for 48 hours.
So it's a little bit more reliable than, or a lot more reliable than a cable connection or a DSL connection that doesn't have a traditional line.
Right. And the nice thing about it, I could, if I wanted to, if we were going off for a couple of weeks, I just take the device with me, plug it in wherever I get to, and bring a little simple phone and plug it in, and it's working.
Simple phone.
Yep.
All right. It's that time again.
It is, and Nabil says if you don't come see him, he is going to firebomb your house.
You've been there?
Like that. I didn't. Susan went.
Shoot.
We don't talk about Nabil enough, and what I was going to tell you is Nabil has a booth at the local fairgrounds here whenever they're doing the flea market every weekend. If you're using inkjet cartridges in your printer and paying retail price, boy, are you wasting money. You need to go see Nabil. He's in the inside building at the front on the what is that, Hillsborough Street side.
Yeah.
And he can refill your cartridges and save you a bunch of money if you're doing that. Susan's got to go see him for a friend this afternoon if he's there, but great guy, does a great job.
I'm gonna work on it. Normally this guy should meet with us tonight, but the disabled vet I was talking about, I'm gonna try to connect him with with you guys.
Sure.
What's the name of your shop there in Raleigh, Amnon?
It's Delta Force. I mean.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You can give him my number.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
Is that the sound of the aliens approaching?
No. What?
It's a tape on rewind.
You can't hear me? You don't understand what I'm saying?
Oh, that's the random noise generator?
Yeah.
That is a reel-to-reel tape recorder being played on high speed. That's the NSA listening in.
Uh-huh. All right.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
They would never do that.
Okay. All right.
All right. So, anybody, Nick, you didn't say much toward the end. Is there something that you want to talk about before we sign off? All right. Thanks.
No problem.
So good morning, good afternoon, everybody, again. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Just click on the link on the forums. Like us also on Facebook by clicking the button in the lower left. Tonight at 8 o'clock, it's Carrie's Psychic Effect. Carrie's going to be in the studio here again. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be Debbie with Health In. But I'll let you hear that through this. Bye, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays, 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays, 8 till 9 p.m. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays, 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays, 1 till 2 p.m. Lessons of Vietnam, with NCVVI members the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.